as Cortezia arrives at the scene.
One enemy remaining.
He's gonna find his. Kesnet, a 1v2 with 11 HP.
There's no way Kesnet wins this.
That high-low is too much. MIBR 1 round away.
But they both stood up and done something.
You cannot count out any member of MIBR when they are in a man-down situation. It is the most ridiculous thing. This team is so talented, Doug.
Unlucky with Rasmus.
Osbos not getting punished here. Yeah, he doesn't connect, but the pressure that he puts on.
I think away with that's insane.
Rookies to step up to the plate, even the numbers, and then clutch it always. MIBR are just on a different level.
Flirting with a bid on the international stage for the first time ever. And the opportunity to qualify for it right now. MIBR, aggressive A, looking to put the finishing touches on this. See that harbor wall coming through. The drone from Verno. You've spotted at least one.
MIBR have done the same thing every round other than the eco. They've stacked 4 players towards A. They were willing from the start of this defense to fight fire with fire.
And now Cortesia's rotating over. He was playing B's, taking all the space down mid. They've got them.
It's just a hard read every single round. Crew, they haven't changed their game plan. They didn't anti-strat themselves. They haven't flirted with B at all.
Melser 34 HP, Kesnet 26 HP. Trying to limp their way into extending this map. Limp their way into extending this series.
And even if you win this brawl, there's still a lockdown from Cortezia.
30 seconds left.
All of the walls are up, and you know they're waiting for just the right moment.
Dash proc at the perfect time, but look at the time.
And now they're gonna pop that ult too.
It's done.
Kesnet falls. Gunfire.
Yeah, no, I'm back. Yeah. G.
3 on the round, Shy left standing, and he will fall. For the
Crew waited way too long to attack.
In franchise history, they earn a spot on the
KDO was what, 12 seconds?
MIBR, welcome.
So I don't know why they tried entering it on 24. They waited way too long for that.
And at what point do you start thinking that they can make a run for some titles, Doug, as well? I mean, the momentum that this team has amassed over the stage 1, over this playoff, you really got to feel like they're a team that could push international teams to the distance. And what a story for Artson, Doug. I mean, this guy joining MIBR as a duelist player, getting so much hate, becoming an IGL with a bunch of rookies and Osbos.
Again, for the first time, Shenum, Cortezia, Verno, and Artine will play on the international stage.
Big ups to Fraud, the one who was the mastermind behind the whole operation. Again, saying that there was plan A, plan B, plan C. Once Osbos became free, pivoting towards something new entirely.
And for a lot of these guys who came up through the tier 2 scene, those matches, the big arena matches, that's the dream.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what you imagine, that's what you play for. And they put it together, and it's, again, I called them ragtag earlier, playfully, but
no,
these guys have a lot of fight behind them.
They're polished as hell. And I keep thinking back to that interview of Cortezia saying, we haven't even reached our peak yet. And I think he's right, Doug. I think there's still a ways to go for this team to get even better. And that's the scary thing, right? How good can they get?
They're pretty damn good now. We got to touch on Verno as well. And you think about the year he's had.
Oh my God.
How tumultuous that's been. The kid's been through the ringer. And he's found a way to qualify. for Toronto, donning the MIBR flag.
I think the only North American player in America's history to join a full Brazilian roster. I mean, to be good enough to do that in the first place is a testament to his ability and his skill.
He's made it. He's
Phenomenal
made his way
player, man. I mean, he deserved Toronto every step of the way. He has stepped up so massively for this MIBR squad, not only in the clutch, but the duo that he has with Aspas. I mean, having his back every step of the way, we saw that in this match.
I mean, yeah, there were a couple of moments on Lotus. We talked about it. There were moments on Icebox where both of them were able to pull.
Remember, chat, whoever wins today
probably shouldn't have
is guaranteed a spot at
one.
winner.
And I think for Crew, very quickly, this is not the end of the road for them, but they are
So
going
at the
to
moment,
work through
MIBR is confirmed at Toronto.
A mess. We'll see if they can pull it off. We're going to send it down to Elizabeth
What
on the stage.
MIBR can do now
With Verno.
is guarantee their
Thank you so much,
first seed,
We have our first qualifiers, everyone.
second
It is
seed.
MIBR. You say good job? Good job, guys? Is that what you say?
Good job, good job.
Good job, good job, everyone. Let's go to you first, Aspas.
Or
What
third.
does it mean to qualify with MIBR for Masters Toronto for you?
It's a very special feeling because I'm qualifying with a Brazilian org again. We're gonna be the only Brazilian team in the Masters, so I hope everyone can cheer for us and we can make everyone proud.
Yes, absolutely. Give it up for Aspas, everyone. Absolutely. Now, Fraud, I see you over there a little emotional, a little bit, and I saw Artazine, you hugging Artazine. What has this journey been like with this org? You know, you have been with this org and with this team for so long, trying and trying and trying, and this is the day you did it. I'm gonna get emotional for you. This is the day you qualified for Masters Toronto. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it feels really good. I mean, every team has their ups and downs. They go through stuff, and you know, for us, we're no different. We had our little issues, especially having to make roster changes. It's some things that it's not easy for some teams to do, but we were able to really focus, stay together, and win or lose, we're gonna, you know, do it together. So I feel really happy that our team is won, regardless of result, and it's kind of showing in the server how well we are as a unit.
What's the emotion right now?
It's tough. I am really happy. So I just, yeah, you know, miss being able to celebrate with like my family too, but also at the same time, I'm really happy to be here with the guys, and they kicked some ass today.
You absolutely kicked some ass today. It was insane. Now, Verno, my guy, you came in here. Everyone was like, Verno on MIBR? And then Verno on MIBR. Insane. Guys, give it up for Verno, because an absolutely insane performance, proving every single doubter, if there was any doubt, out of the way. You were insane. What does it feel like to qualify with Aspas, with Fraud, with your MIBR team?
It feels really good. I mean, Aspas is like the best teammate I've ever played with, the best player I've ever played with, so he provides like way more value than like anyone thinks. He's like the best player that's ever played the game.
About that.
So.
How does he do that?
Bro, like, I don't know, the things he does, like, first off, like in every way, like mechanically, like outside the game too, he's like such a good teammate, and bro, mechanically, bro, he's
we know.
Bro, he's like by far.
I'll add on to that. As far as Aspas goes, like he's become like a really big leader for our team, not just in the game, outside the game. He's showing the young guys how to operate, how to go about their day. So
Aspas
I think Aspas is a huge factor, not only what he does in the server, but how he's showing the boys the way.
All right, one last question. Is Master Toronto ready for MIBR? Do they know what's coming yet or no? Any us for anyone? Aspas, do you think they're ready?
I think we're ready.
But is everyone else ready?
They're ready.
I think they are.
Okay, that's enough. Everyone give it up for MIBR one more time. First team qualified Master Toronto. But guys, I know you know what match is next. It is Sentinels versus G2. Stay right there.
Yeah, that's not understand what the division was, but most people say no, they're not, but these aspects, I don't know if I'm being honest or but I don't know if he's being honest or if he didn't have some question about that.
The human body was built to move, not trapped at a desk in one singular posture or chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Everybody talks about the S&P 500. Here are 5 facts every investor
That's easy,
should
man.
know.
Oh my god, there's no way.
Fans love it. The banter back.
No way we got Sand
If we win this next
Gavin
match, we
style
make
before
Toronto. As a
GA6,
team,
bro.
We're kind of hitting our stride, and we feel really confident in our form.
On fire so far, it doesn't even matter if it gets pinged out. Dashes forward. Does one. Second already pulls the acrobatics. Second uses a sight like a jungle gym. What is going on with Second today?
Jogma is insane. I mean, he's a really strong duelist on an undefeated team. I think both of us have similar playstyles where we kind of get crazy with how we entry. We like to get creative and do a lot of different things.
20 seconds, the off again, Jojimo, he's ringing true, and the bell is ringing for Vic. Ja! The one to end it!
I'm gonna shoot him in the head. I mean, that's pretty much all you can do, just shoot the guy.
Straight through dimensional drift into the round. Zekin's gonna say no. 2 to the back of the site, and he clears it up, making sure it's secure.
One enemy remaining.
Always a fun time playing Sentinels and making their fans sad. Like, both of us are gonna make Toronto, so whoever does it first, sure. Good luck.
All right, who's gonna win today, Sentinels or G2?
I feel like Sentinels.
Why could you possibly say that? Why do you think that?
Because currently, John QT and Bang are pretty good.
They are. Well, let's see it. All right, who's gonna win today, Sentinels or G2?
Sentinels!
All right, who's gonna win today?
Sentinels.
All right,
Sentinels.
easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, very simple. Who's gonna win today, Sentinels or G2?
But she's TPing ever, bro.
Okay,
Sentinels for sure. G2.
why G2, the lone wolf here?
Because they're better. Fundamentally better.
Fundamentally better. All right, who's gonna win today, Sentinels or G2?
Let's go, Sentinels!
A lot of love for Sentinels out there, of course. Welcome back, everyone, to Day 3 of VCT America's Stage 1 playoffs. Golden Boy here, alongside Ender, Brent, and Mimi for our second match of the day.
Are you forgetting
it's
something?
G2 East. Don't.
From the first match, we had a bet, buddy.
Did we have a bet?
We had a little bet.
We kind of glided over.
We glided
yeah.
over, but we talked about it ahead of time that whoever predicted this game wrong would have to take a little sip with some little syrup. And GB, I believe
because Canada. Was that the
it's pretty weak
logic?
It's pretty weak.
Train?
But
I like it.
Honestly, I
it works
deserve this
okay.
for what I did the sideshow all the way back at the World Cup back
How
in the
many
day.
years ago?
Show
7
this.
years ago?
It was like 7 years ago.
7 years ago, we're old.
It was terrible, you know, thinking about the fact that. Hey, by the way, I'm so sorry to the people who had to just look at my bald head and to zoom in like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's thick.
That seems quite.
Damn.
No, that seems quite fluid.
What?
You want to pass it to him? Okay.
Oh,
and it's got to be a one shot.
That was like half of the maple leaf, by the way.
The moose eye is
Three,
staring
two,
at me.
one, go.
Just do it, dog. No.
Not happening.
Okay, well.
And he's gone.
That's I would love to see what he listen. And
that's tough.
Let's start the pre-match. Let's take a look at our bracket here.
I'm on.
You okay?
Oh, sweet man.
You didn't even get
You didn't do it.
Sideshow chugged a whole one of these, and I made him do it.
Yeah.
He's built different, man.
You didn't even get through the entire thing of it. You're doing it again?
Sideshow, because I got you. I have to anyway. That's the
You need to get to match 11 or match 12 to
EG, you know,
like guarantee it basically.
Just go do stuff, please. Oh God.
That's most of it. He's running off camera again. All right, G2.
Match 11 will confirm who gets what playoffs,
#1
but
seed. They're yet to lose a match here in VCT Americas, and they want a
match
chance to
12
go back
confirmed
to the
who gets
global
about 2
stage.
seeds.
Welcome back, GB. Last time these teams played, it was a banger in the finals of kickoff, 5-map affair, but G2 took it home and beat them again in stage 1.
And I gotta say, I think every single time these two teams face off as well, you start to see the elevation in form. For Sentinels as well, I think in that kickoff run and that best of 5 towards the end, that was the peak form that we saw for them genuinely.
Sure.
And they weren't even able to reach that again in Bangkok. I'm seeing similar themes for the Sentinels team. They are constantly making iterations again on their team overall. They're improving at such a steady rate, but G2 have just been that top dog to beat. They've got a target on their back. They know it still to this day. And the question is, can anyone really go toe-to-toe with them? Is it going to be Sen here today?
It feels like teams have been able to get closer, right? They've been able to take some maps off, like Sentinels in that final series, but at least here at home, G2 are, I don't see them losing to anybody.
Yeah, they have been on point. They are yet to lose a single series at home thus far. And there's some history in this matchup. You see it here, cute little picture. This is the Cloud9 that was like all the way back at Champs 2021 era. Leaf, Celsius, teammates back then, and now playing against each other.
Mortal enemies.
Are you back? Are you
I'm good. I'm good. It's oh boy, that was something. Let me tell you, my doctor just said I have high blood pressure. Who knows what's gonna happen now?
True.
It looks like diabetes is on the menu, baby. In any case, ahead of today's matchup, Elizabeth had an opportunity to catch up with Leaf for a quick chat. What do you got for us, Liz?
Now, Leaf, many people consider G2 to be the best team in the Americas, the team to beat in the Americas. Is there any pressure that comes with being the best, being the team to beat? Everyone's something to prove, right?
I think there's definitely pressure from, you know, ourselves. Also, like, we don't want to be like, we don't want to lose to a team and have them have the title, like, beating us basically in Americas. But I mean, we just want to be the best, so there's always pressure no matter what. And I think that we play well when we have those pressure, and like also the LAN qualifying games. Like last year, we were very good at them. So yeah, I think it's just expected.
Best of luck today.
Well, I've been informed that GB is getting his stomach pumped, so I'm here to course correct for this one. I want to talk about G2's Pearl. Pearl is a map that Sen like to pick into. I think we're going to see it today, and specifically G2's attack. The first thing I want to do is just highlight sort of the util pattern they use when they take this A main space. It's all about forcing the opposition out here, and we've got a great little camera angle we can pop into. First piece of utility I want you to see, the Tejo missiles, right? Super annoying, basically clearing this out so no one can get in to into the box. On top of that, you're also gonna have an Astra Star that'll turn into a stun, an Astra Pole potentially back there. You even got Jogamo chucking a flash all the way over the top here to bank off this wall so the players on a deeper angle would still get hit. And all of this is to, you know, sort of nullify the enemy Astra Stars on the other side. You've also got this Yoru teleport tracking in. What you can tell is it's a mess. There's tons of utility that's here to clear out absolutely everything. And we'll sort of watch how this plays out because, yeah, we've got the teleport down into the corner from Jogamo. G2 come into the space, even throwing a Seize in there. And then after this point, they do a really nice job of trading out every single kill. But this is where G2's sort of secret, you know, card up their sleeve comes into play. And that is going to be, on the other side of the map, Leaf. Leaf is one of the most effective lurkers on this map in VCT, period. On the Vise, super strong. And what he has just been told by his team is that A, 3 players just died on the bodies, and the enemy Cypher was just seen. And he knows, based on the last few rounds of information seeking into mid, that the street control is just a Cypher camera. What this means is, well, with the Cypher fighting, he can't be clicking into that consistently. So as soon as Cypher is seen in this fight in main, he instantly is going to start moving across in towards street. And he actually goes a little bit deeper. From this position here, he can actually start hearing the rotates coming through spawn onto the other side. So he's now pinpointed both players remaining from the side of Cloud9, and well, what's he gonna do with that information? He is gonna call the rotates in from his team. He gets that over there. Hey, I was drawing during the cast. You can see a little bit of that too. It's all fun, and it's very easy for the team to start pivoting back over to this side of the map because he got so deep into the enemy territory. From there, they set up a beautiful post plant. C9 end up saving, and the round is just completely pointless for them to try and play out because of that early information and Leaf on the lurk, and that's gonna be pivotal in today's series. So come on with me. I think GB is back.
I'm back. I'm good.
The stomach is okay?
Riot has some of the best stomach pumpers in the business, okay? They brought him in, they flew him in from Tunisia and just went in, you know? Yeah.
Is Tunisia famous for,
I would assume, I don't know, maybe. You know, I'm a world traveler. In any case, so guys, look, we're gonna keep it real with y'all right now, okay? Because the reality is, if G2 had won Masters Bangkok, I'm pretty sure, Mimi, we all were in agreement. Trent was the MVP of that event for G2, right?
He was just outstanding for them that entire tournament, and he's kept it up into stage 1, and I think it's gonna be important here today because when I look at these two teams, they are the two most Teo-pilled teams left in the tournament. They are both picking into a ton of Breach Teo comps, playing a ton of Vise and Yoru. They have really similar ideas on a lot of maps, but Trent was the guy who defined a lot of these ideas. I think his utility has been on point, especially the timing at which he's using missiles has been stellar throughout, and he's looked just as individually sound as when he was a full-time Sova Breach player.
Yeah, I hard agree, and I think as well for a player like Trent as well, with G2 set up the way that they play as well, Jogamo isn't really set up to be the star player. It's Trent playing off the space that Jogamo creates to be the star player, and he is really enabled in that role. You can tell just from the numbers, he looks like the highlight of the team almost every single time that they play.
Yeah, well, look, I'm getting word that we're getting ready to go, so I want to keep moving on this. Talk about Sentinels real fast, because Sen did manage to take out Cloud9 on Thursday's game. And they, look, I think it's safe to say that for this Sentinels team coming into it, there were some doubts. I wasn't quite sure for myself. But, oh man, this was clean. This was put together. This was structured. Everything you could want out of Sentinels.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the doubts for Sentinels would have come off of that international performance, which is a very stark contrast to what G2 is able to do. But I think the last few weeks especially, this team has been looking excellent. Bang has really been stepping into his own with the team.
And this is the Cloud9 that's been looking fantastic as well.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, I loved their ascent.
Just to see what maps could be there.
They had such a good
And then
game going into that game, and as we look at our Preds here,
I did not see that coming.
There is only one person favoring Sen here, and I think this game is closer than people think.
Yeah.
Yes, G2 is undefeated, but Sen has stepped up even from the way they were playing back in kickoff. They have really fleshed out their map pool. Players have started to come into their own. John QT, Bang, Zekin, all having great games. This is a Sen who can make this close.
I don't think a Sen can be playing that
G2 as well. It's very hard to
Icebox
win the top dogs for a long period of time. You have a massive target on their backs. They've been talking about it in the interviews as well themselves. Like, there's only so much you can be a dominant team that's a force of nature before everybody is staring at you as the team to beat as well. With the iterations that we're seeing from Sen, they're getting better and better and better every single time that they play. Listen, the Preds, the analysts, we've been wrong a lot of the time, actually, in fact. So listen, I don't think it's going to be telling the tale of this match too much. I'm hoping for a close game. Sen have definitely got it in them, I think, to make it much closer than we are apparently making out.
Yeah, they definitely do. For Sentinels here, this team has been on the up and would have such a big opportunity here. Qualify to Toronto the easy way and get their revenge for those last 2 matches that they've lost to G2.
Well, this is it, folks, right? This is the one more spot for Toronto up for grabs, right? A lot of pressure on the line here. Can G2 and Sentinels find their way back to an international event? It's going to be an intense matchup, and we know that the Riot Games Arena is filled out to the brim. So let's go ahead and get the show started and bring out your 2 teams.
Riot Games Arena, let's find out who's going to Toronto. Let's bring out first, Sentinels!
Now it's the Sentinels, and you heard Elizabeth before she gathered all the fans, asked some questions who you think's going to win, and oh man, it's a partisan crowd here, Ender, for Sentinels, and it feels like G2 might be walking into some hostile territory.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you heard the
Oh, I was so
interviews
late, bro.
before with Liz. There was one fan she found that thought G2 was going to win. This is going to be a high-energy arena. You know the Sen fans are going to be out in force, and that's exactly what you want for a global qualifier
I think that's a script of the
Absolutely.
Walker,
I think the
I've
Sentinels team, again, I just keep iterating that they are the ones iterating. Every single time they play, they're looking that much better as well. And all it's going to take is one more little incremental improvement, I think, to just tip them over the scales to potentially take down G2.
And now it's time to bring out their opponents. Come on, y'all, make some noise for G2!
And even though you got a lot of fan support for Sentinels here in the arena, let's not forget that this G2 team, you've heard them multiple times in a couple interviews mention, hey, we want to be the team that everyone wants to cheer for, that everyone wants to believe in. Hey, what better way to do it now than to take out Sentinels?
I was also going to say, you don't need to have the fans on your side if you're out here smoking everyone.
Every match in America.
Real talk, man. Real
Yeah, no
talk.
worries for them. Sen is coming off of 2 dominant 2-0 victories, most impressively against Sentinels to start their bid here in the playoffs. But for G2, they've had some close games, losing a map in their last 2 series, really getting pushed by Leviathan, by MIBR as well, but now coming out here and still being flawless, still being the #1 seed. This is their chance to show what Josh RT was talking about earlier in the season. The teams have not caught up,
Yeah,
and they are
Icebox
still
and
being talked on
Sen.
for a reason.
Okay. Sen banned Thatcher and Lotus. Haven and Pearl banned by G2.
Icebox, the way that G2 play Icebox is almost like they've just thrown it into some sort of algorithm to figure out the most optimal way to play it.
Which sounds like Josh RT.
It's all post-plan store, but the way they play it is so disciplined that it almost makes it interesting to watch itself. I think we're going to have a stellar series on our hands.
Sen has gone back to Split being their strongest map in this stage, but G2 have not played this since their loss to T1 in the finals of Bangkok. They could have something completely new ready.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see G2 come in with a very strong game plan up against Sen. Sen have a lot of footage on that map for them to go ahead and study. And when it comes down to like how G2 play maps, I kind of feel like
normal
what you were
comp
saying,
setup
Brett,
and
about them
I don't think
like,
so will
plugging
change
in
because
the algorithm to
like
generate
honestly
most
if 2 days
optimal
change
comps,
at home
most
from
optimal
last
playstyle.
time
That
it's
kind
not
of feels like
happening.
their approach on every
I just
map.
haven't heard Brand talk good about Icebox so
You
much.
see their comps
in
actually
one
pretty
day.
decent as well. It's pretty good.
Crazy,
Yeah.
you know?
In fact, my best comps actually.
Crucial note here, I think, with this map veto, at least in my mind, I think, is that the longer it goes, the less likely it looks for Sen to try and take it, I think. For that Ascent final map that we're going to be seeing played as well, the way that Sen took it against Cloud9 was off the back of a lot of clutches and some hard anteing as well, and also from Cloud9 kind of really being uncomfortable, I think, as well, when the sides were swapped around for them. So Ascent for G2, on the other hand, they've been innovating. They played a Waylay comp, they set up Jorg really well. I think it's critical for Sentinels to try and take this one in a 2-0 if they're going to win it.
Same comp for Sen that has been amazing for them all season with this double initiator Yoru comp for Zekken. I think they have great ideas on their attack side of how to take early space, reset this round, and let players like Zelsis get big value on the lurks. And G2, this is the comp they played in that last game against T1. It's going to be a mirror match.
Yeah, again, for G2, they love the Yoru pick. They love sort of setting up fights off of the contact plays from him, the quick rotates, all these ideas. And when you think about it, the ultimates, when they come online, line, you've got 3 monsters for taking sites.
A sick head-to-head to
Well,
start
most,
Georgimo
things
against
are
Zek and
crazy.
Paul playing on this Yoru that they have been picking up a ton thus far this stage.
I was thinking that maybe there would have been a little bit of a change up on G2, given that we haven't seen
Can I
it for
pay
so
better than
long. It's
Road,
clear
really?
that this
No.
composition works, right?
It doesn't have to be a comp change, just an approach change. There's a big gap in terms of footage. G2 have not showed this map in a while, and Sen, this is their most played.
Well, folks,
Sen needs to win this map, because if we don't win this map, chat, there's going to be a huge like damage against map. Oh, someone has Zekin's post upside down. That's not a good sign.
And it is time to get into what is this kickoff grand finals revenge match in best of 3 form, and I'm sure Sentinels want to come out firing.
Yeah, for sure. From an Orcs perspective in his rivalry, you would want Sentinels to come out on top. In the VCT so far, it's always been G2 throughout the last year, but they have a chance to kick things off on the right foot because we are starting off on split. This is a rematch of the grand finals of kickoff, as you've mentioned, and actually Sentinels has beaten G2 13-4 on this map. A great start to kick things off, and when you're looking at G2's side, though, they're pulling out with an Omen. Mimi mentioned that they used this against T1, but in that kickoff game, Valen actually had the Astra going into the composition. So this time around, going back into an Omen, they want to go into a mirror comp, maybe battling a little bit more with the Omen flash, and we'll have to see what's G2 cooking up this time around.
It is interesting to see. You don't need as much as the stars for post plant now that you have Trent continuously playing that Tejo. And as we get into our first round, it's just going to be a spread out on the map for G2 and Sentinels. It's kind of heavy stacking towards B to start.
Yeah, and G2 is always going to be like this very slow start, just trying to figure out here what Sentinels would try to do at the beginning of these rounds. All of them focused into the extremities at first, playing very passively. Will there be any trap plays with the tail salvos coming out from Sentinels? And as it quiets down a little bit, they wanted to add a little bit of pressure towards this middle, see what type of rotate they could follow it. But you could definitely see they're trying to finish for a split towards this A site.
Interesting to see there. Back to this Zelsis alone in mid. We heard Kaplan talking about how that was sometimes an avenue teams would take to beat mid and take the map away. So they started giving him help from John Cutie and others from a distance. Here they go back to it, and it seems like G2 will take that mid space, will take Heaven.
Oh my god. Wait, Zekin pitching a good spot.
Ever so quiet, could be the one to start the round, and he does pop with 2 fast shots. Now they're trying to sort out where the rest of the members of G2 could be. They creeped in so quietly, and now they have A sites themselves.
Tried to fake plan at the beginning to see if a split from Sentinel is going to come out.
Oh, Zelsis. Oh, he gets him. Util out. The timing is there. Narrate through the paranoia. Gets the right click that counts, and now it's up to Trent. The post plant, the reason they have the Tejo.
Now trying to go on to this tap. Trent trying to move forward. Bang onto that tap. The swing for the first tap. And now the swing is sticking up so far to the spike and gets the full diffuse.
It doesn't matter that Bang just died, we got to the
Consolation prize for that kill from Trent, but unfortunately here for Sentinels.
The second spot this then was actually amazing.
Riv on the first pistol round. Zekin in that position just behind the Viper screen. Right over here.
Yeah.
There's so many times going into the VCTs when this is not being checked, and it's a deadly spot. And Zekin, who's been amazing throughout the playoffs to kick things off against Cloud9, opens up with a nice.
That's actually huge, chat. The fact we've got a pistol against G2, that's huge.
It's not the aggressive Yoru there. The round had kind of played out a little bit.
They
wait, they pull back, and he's not trying to play off a gate crash. They're playing safe, and they're playing behind the walls. Very nicely done. Again, we see that opening mid up didn't really
please don't say it's
hurt
Sentinels
too much, and it's exactly, they almost were able to walk G2
Wait, is this your bang?
the way they wanted through that vent and into his site before they attacked again. We do have a quick tech pause to start out here for a second match, and we'll get that sorted as soon as possible.
Yeah. So far again, G2 has had
I think they should have inside now.
great opportunities here to work towards the A side. Remember that smoke in the flash that we talked about from Valen switching over to this Omen. They actually use that to actually get a lot of space towards the A heaven when they were pitching across. So again, think about how Valen potentially could be sticking around with this group here for G2 to work as a pack to fight toe-to-toe against Sentinel, who loves to get muddy in these fights too. You saw how close it was one on top of the spike. Close range classics. It's been going well so far.
All right, ahead of G2's playoff debut, we did speak with Jonah P about the team's goals. Let's check it out.
Chat, I'm going to check how you get the word moment.
Goals moving forward is obviously to qualify.
So give me a minute, chat.
Toronto, that's the first step, and then you know, closing out the stage. We're not here to just qualify for the event. We want to win the whole thing.
Yeah,
and we got to defend our kickoff title, and that's what we want to do. We want to, you know,
Fair
we
chat
want to
with
win
that.
everything
My dog's on the
and
bed.
be
I
that
don't
team
really
that's
feel
very
it.
consistent and
We're looking for doggy
proves
here.
to the fans that we're the team to cheer for.
Stay.
Yeah, so expectations pretty high here for G2. But going into this game again, just to think about here, what's at stake? Sentinels has a great start with this pistol on the Icebox. That second map has only been tested once by G2 coming out with this non-duelist comp. But Split in itself for G2, they've never played it in Split 1 in 2025. They played it once only during the kickoff, but it wasn't because G2's trying to avoid playing this map. They actually float it a lot throughout the season, and it's just other teams that's banning it against them. So going into this matchup now, it's been a while since kickoff that these two teams played against each other on this map. Now it's G2 that has the upper hand, at least in terms of what's new. What can we bring out here against Sentinel, who loves to play this map on Split?
We'll have to find out after we get out of this tech pause. And I think the one thing we see here is one thing we definitely want to talk about.
The G2 Classic.
The way that these teams will use stingers on a low buy. Two of the best in VCT Americas here. We remember Trent's play from just the other day on Pearl, as well as what they're going to be able to do here. So it's going to be a treat to see what the Stingers will do, and I think this is going to make the game very fast on the low buy rounds. I don't think they're going to give each other too much space. We'll give them a little bit more space as we bounce back out for a tech pause real quick. Apologies for the delay on this, and we will get back as quick as possible into the game. But it did something that's very much so switched the rounds. We saw Sentinels as well in their 1v1s, their 1v2s, even 2v4s from their previous series being able to steal rounds they should not get. So we may have to see the G2 Stingers or vice versa from Sentinels even more than usual.
And a lot of that was on the back of Zekin and Zelsis when they were getting these clutch moments against C9 the other day. And for the side of Zelsis, he's been the vibe merchant. You saw him walk off the stage, or walking on the stage with Kaplan, just laughing along. A little bit late behind. He was supposed to be the coach in the back, but it's still Zelsis that moved forward. But at the same time, that vibe, the vibe merchant was definitely present throughout these moments. I think he won like 2 1v1s on Pearl and a 1v2, especially in that 2 versus 4 with Zekin when he flanked from the back. So you kind of need somebody like Zelsis who's been finding his groove as a Sentinel role, as a flex now going into Split playing as his Viper.
Yeah.
But definitely somebody to look out for. And now you're looking from top to bottom in this roster. It's definitely a team that actually puts a lot of power into the server for Sentinels.
Zekin, I kind of wrote in my notes yesterday, this guy had so many ults you thought he was cheating. It was like 3 per half, 3 or 4 per half, and you might even see it here again, already starting out 2-1. As we get this sorted out, let's do some voting with the crowd. Who are you picking? Where's it going? It's going to be mirrored, so it might be weird at first, but it is Sentinels first. What do we got? That's, yeah, okay. Obviously, obviously G2. Okay, okay.
You're saying that it's mirrored. People today seem to be knowing the groove to
yeah, 2-1
to point in the right direction in the very beginning.
See?
Okay, maybe
You
not.
cursed
Maybe
them.
not.
You
Maybe
cursed
not.
them.
Maybe not. I'm cursing this as much as I'm cursing the tech pause, am I?
G2. So it's like 3-2 now? 3-2 G2? Oh, yeah, there's a Zekin. Look at that. And Zekin's getting the votes here with the signs in hand. Also been a lot more vocal, it seems, this year.
Yeah.
After the rounds, getting up, not getting up, but being way more vocal, propping the team up, containing those emotions at a high level, and just keeping the vibe up with the team as much as Elsis, really.
Actually, when you talk about emotions as well, you see G2 when they're walking out here on the stage, they're quite stoic. And a lot of their matches going into this one here, knowing that they're the best team, but also I think there's a lot of those emotions that's just buried down, just to not let that take the best of their emotions going into the game. Because remember, they almost had a chance to win Bangkok going all the way to the grand finals against T1.
Yeah.
They had the lead over 2 maps, where they unfortunately lost those in overtime against T1, where they had the lead. They had game point, match point, series point, championship point going into Bangkok, and let that slip. So,
and you know what things like that mean? We hear Jogamo talk about the effect it had for them on Pearl and how they had to get over that speed bump on Pearl where it felt good again if they could get themselves to that map and play it through.
Well, let's get into this map then.
Let's get right into Split though, as G2 Esports are getting one of their first plays here out of the stage.
Deadly spot from Bang at the top there of
the billboard. And G2 going with the Stinger buy. You just mentioned it before, but G2 quite often successful with the Stinger buy and now attempting to rush towards his B site.
That TP's back to A. Jogamo to the back of the site, but Bang is very much so ready. Gonna get swarmed and he wants to go for more. Thinking he may have the positioning. Very fast move from Sentinels here to reposition and get set up for the protocol and retake.
They're staying as a group, closing the gap. Could be very deadly against the retake of Sentinels, who only has a judge on Zelsis too as a weak weapon.
The W key has been a huge advantage for G2 on this one. They just pushed right into the site, running over anything that was in front of them. This is where the Stingers may fall flat, though, to the Bulldog on the other side of the swing of Sentinels coming through as a team. And it's going to be a find, and it's going to be a kill for Zelsis. They're able to get that one down on the default plant spot, and the defuse coming through as well. Zekin gets even more points on the board, and he is just 2 away from Dimensional Drift going into the bonus round.
And as we just mentioned, Zelsis with a judge was able to pick up a Stinger here to open up the first kill on the retake from Sentinels, who flooded back. Knowing here that G2 are really good on trades in these Stinger buys, they also wanted to stay as a group. And Sentinels takes the upper hand, and you just talked about it, Zekin being 2 away from the Dimensional Drift. Remember his game against Cloud9 the other day. He was having almost like 4 or 5 blade storms within the half.
Yeah.
He's been on fire so far. Doesn't have to be as prolific as he was in the game versus Cloud9, because again, the whole team's looking pretty good here for Sentinels.
Yeah.
Defensive round G2. We have a Stinger buy for Valen, and for the rest, finally we calm things down in terms of the economy so they can have a much healthier buy in round number 4.
Gosh, that judge towards mid. The vanity, artsy, and cosplay now coming into effect. Everybody realizes how strong it is in this position. A nice displacement, so G2 can still toy with this area and try to gain a little bit of ground. Oh, we saw it coming. It was just a matter of time there for Zelsis to be able to get at least one. The timing's going to be good, but the distance a bit too much for the judge to follow up, and that's going to be John Cutie on the other side for the pincer move. Now 4v2. It's going to be tough for G2 to even get into the site. Not going to happen. They rack up a bonus round there, and Sentinels
But a fact with one
continue.
bonus is actually insane.
The small scales from G2 trying to take control of the top middle. I think due to that type of buy that they had on the Stinger, they didn't have too much utility to allow the Flash to move up here towards Mail. So Valen just swings in with the Stinger, and that's not something easy to fight against when you have a judge here into Zelsis. And 3 unanswered rounds, but finally things calm down. G2's back into the advantage in terms of weapons in this round. Playing it very slow still. You have this wall set up on the A side for a slow lurk on the side of Leaf. Where G2 gives a lot of
Did you two not pause
responsibility on
also?
Leaf in these moments where he's trying to find a timing on these
They must have
lurks.
because the money, right? I've
So
been
he kicks off
they've
with
gone
early
somewhere.
util to set presence of towards middle here for G2. Everybody's grouping up once again.
Who just messaged me on
Just a power drive
this?
towards this A site. But Sentinels, they're ready for it. They got 3 players out here.
So close. This is going to be tough. I don't know if they can both get out of this. No, they cannot.
Myself? Oh, wait, he didn't get
G2
killed.
pressing in so fast,
Yeah,
and it was
he did.
Sentinels in just that awkward window in timing. It's like G2 is going to be trying to do this the entire time. They play a little bit slower. They find where they can get through
This is
the
good for
armor
one,
of
eh?
their opponent, and then it just looks so easy once they get the spike down.
Still good util for Sentinels though to move back into the site. Bulldogs being picked up. They have Salvos and Paranoid to start flooding towards the elbow.
Little pop flash from Nagamo to see if they can retake this space, but nobody's engaged enough for him to want to take it. I think they back up here.
Maybe try to find exits though. Zelsis only has his Bulldog, so he's going to be the one moving forward. John Cooney's going to fall back and save.
Double peek. He's just waiting, he doesn't want to give it away now.
Good damage.
Sees 2 on the other side. Jonah will take that.
At least he made him
Jogamo
buy
just
more show, you
fine
know?
there. Cat jamming on the screen.
That's how the players play.
That
It's
is
it
going to
for
be a
them.
4th round here for G2.
Still a great start. Finally, that they have their money right. They have a flawless round for the side of G2. But the good thing about this, though, despite G2 being able to open up this A site,
Like
is
spray.
the correct reads that Sentinels currently have here on the defense. Something that's a masterclass calling that was even mentioned here in the post game against Cloud9. Something that John Cutie's doing very well in terms of understanding the tendencies of their opponents. So when they have better weaponry, or even a judge back in the hands of Zelsis, maybe in the later rounds, it could render deadly for G2, who are kind of like just spitballing into a group push in the mid-round without getting too much information. And speaking of information, you start with the dimensional drift. A flash to come across.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Just straight to the back line. They're expecting it somewhat, but you know Zekken's going to try to do something crazy here. Leaf goes down, but so does Zekken. I'd say this is obviously leaving Sen in the 2-2 across the map, and if they don't lose anybody else, are looking pretty good here. G2 patiently waiting to get in. One off of quite a few ultimates could easily solidify this round for them.
And that's why they wanted to stay back towards the spawn. What type of moves are they going to do here on the defense? And they react to it. So far, reacting correctly, moving inside this B side. It's open for now. It's been stalled a bit by some counter salvos out from Sentinel's side. And finally, John OP's going in for the plant.
Spike planted.
They get that down. G2 becomes so much stronger in this position. You already see Trent starting to back up. Armageddon could come in just a few of these kills, but he's got the salvos first. The retaliation now. They try to stop the entry back into the site. Sentinel's still thinking of a which way to get in, and they cannot cover each other on these shots. The spams come through. And again, G2 get that post plant locked down.
Come on, Sen, use your momentum you had a minute
That's
ago.
always been the game plan for G2, knowing that, you know, we mentioned Trent just playing Teo every single map.
He knows that role.
Never plays a Silva, never plays a Fade, just keeps on to this Teo because it's so good in terms of what G2, how they want to approach in these maps. It creates so much space for them to allow Joggermoon to move in, and he doesn't need to move in with the rest of the team. From time to time, he'll come in with the special delivery for the assist, but if not, they need him to stay alive for the salvos on the pulse plan, and it's been working out so far. Not too many teams have found good answers into stopping the pulse plant for G2 so far.
All right. Now we get Jogmo. Oh my gosh. Zekken with the Guardian. We saw him doing the same thing just yesterday. Jogmo creating disruption. Looks like G2 slipped past again. They've definitely picked up the pace in the way that they're taking the sites overall. Just the game pace for them has been picked up here. And Sentinels cannot seem to get in front of it just yet.
They're forced to play inside
Zekken can't get out. Wait.
GP's it? No, does not time it correctly. That's 2 for Trent on the Armageddon, and he is just racking up the points right now. You'll already see John Cutie heading to the side here, and G2 may...
Yeah, I'm gonna look at this real good chat.
One nice thing to say about your now say one mean thing about your opponent.
What?
Okay. I'll make you one too.
This guy copies everything that I do on every agent that we play in common.
Listen, like I've come to realize at my age that I have to keep up with the kids. So like if the kids are doing good shit, I have to copy them. You know what I mean? Like one mean thing about my opponent is one mean thing about my opponent is
yeah, that's fair.
I can't even hear it.
Gonna fake it out the
I wouldn't know what else was say,
that was actually
but...
thrown in here by Joggermo gave the tell that you were playing so far back for Sentinels after those salvos. And after that shot, that was the cue to pull out the armor.
Second?
Oh, he's able to cap 2 with those.
Oh, we see you got broken when, because you're not much else you can do.
Saving a gun, playing for stats.
Timeout from Sen.
Either way. Got a timeout coming in here from Sentinels on this as they figure out how to kind of sort out what G2 has been doing. It's not been a consistent site. G2 have shown mid, B, and A now, and it's very explosive once they get to that point. I think obviously when you're facing this, a little bit of extremity control on one side and hopefully the right one, you're not running into that death ball that's coming in, can kind of set you up with a bit more information.
Yeah, I feel from outside looking in for this timeout for Kaplan is just trying to lean back on those fundamentals. Going back to what was a pain point for them in Bangkok where they weren't really trading off each other or even at the beginning of kickoff. And then once we see the turnaround into split 1, you saw that there were, 4-1 going to the group, only losing the crew. But the upwards trajectory that Mimi was talking about here at the desk was just being able to play off each other and just stay as a group. So far, and that's how G2 is going to play when they're entering these sites. So you do need that buddy system to come across, and you're definitely seeing it so far now. Because they do have the lower buy, they could maybe activate with a Rolling Thunder off reaction of what could happen here at the beginning of this round.
Sentinels go back to that kind of favoring mid with a bit more pressure now. Trying to activate Zekken on this, they leave Zelsis to go into the site. And G2 are once again going to play all around the map, making sure the extremities actually don't have too much vision on them.
The more you wait here, Sentinels could potentially start funneling players into those strong ults. This is why here Zelsis and Narrate also playing at different extremities. This could be a late pit to pivot players towards the middle. And then it's onto the flood here from Rolling Thunder. That could be a game plan. But now that you've already used a drone at the very beginning for Sentinels, they're not able to get too much information in the very beginning. So they have to be a little bit more reactive to G2.
Seem oddly spread out here. Unless we're going to get some activation out of Leaf, some noise. It's just going to be super late for him. So they're actually going to do 4 take towards B. They feel like they've sorted out the defensive Sentinels enough by waiting down a minute and about 20 seconds here. What will they have to go for? They pressure cook the clock down to 30 now. And Jonah's going to get that plant in sight and feeling good about it here.
Oh, no. The salvos drop Zelsis, and that's the pit down. The idea was him to just stay alive so the rest could rotate over and use the Rolling Thunder, but now
they're just ready. They're already reading this play. They saw it before Sentinels even wanted to do it, and Zekin got shot in the face through the wall there before going down. So he's limping around for the rest of the round here.
That's too good there for G2. Just a little bit of a unluckiness there out for Zelsis, but towards the end, what happened for G2 in the post line was beautiful. Always leveraging Jonah P to able to assist Jongimo to get openings. Beautiful fault line towards the back. That doesn't allow here Sentinels to really capitalize on using that Rolling Thunder for the retake. Because that pit that was laid down by Zelsis was so nice. You saw that it covered really all of the map.
Yeah.
Outside of the salvos potentially to play the post plant for G2, there's not too much that G2 has to play within the pit.
Jeez. It just goes to show Trent is thinking so well with where to use these salvos, what the displacement along with the other information is going to be. And Kaplan watches his timeout fizzle away.
Yeah, you saw how that split across the Paranoia. Again, to switch back onto an Omen. So a fault line on one side, Paranoia on the other, and you have Jogginway between to get an opening. Such good coordination coming out from G2. And now put Sentinel, thankfully, silver lining is that you did have a half buy on that previous round. Now you have a full rifle round, and you could still have an outcome with the Rolling Thunder available, but G2 wants to press it forward. Split into the B site.
Going into the aftershock, they're just playing ahead of their own game here. I love it. Trying to catch the opponent off guard. Sentinels react really nice. They still have an anchor on the site, but do they know about Jogamo? Do they know about Jogamo? Rolling Thunder comes out, but it's already been routed on the back side of the site. This leaves John in such a tough spot now. Pincer down, and the rest of Sentinels.
Bro, Sen is not trolling, bro.
Deja vu, 2 outside the
Doing
site.
fast 3 rounds and now they're trolling.
Can't do anything to get back in.
It's such a big pick. Jogamo getting that one onto Narrate, and not only that, it didn't actually get the hit onto Leaf, who's playing selfless. What they're doing there for G2 is just reset. Those that are towards the B side that didn't get affected by the Rolling Thunder just waits it out. They leverage Leaf, who just drops down and plays bait so they could double swing and trade off if Leaf falls. And he didn't even need to die. G2 looking very good here in Sentinels. You just mentioned it, a timeout that came out from Kaplan. No success coming out of the double ult. No success coming out from a Rolling Thunder to stall the hit from G2, because they're still leaving gaps on the reaction here that G2 is currently instilling on their attack side, and that's a change of pace. How many times so far in this first half that it's been very slow for G2 trying to scout around the map and then move as a group, but this time around, they quickly activate on top of B-Habit, and it seems like Sentinels weren't ready for that.
It's honestly not something you expect from G2. You expect to get a little bit longer of a series altogether because the rounds will go longer. The way they want to figure out their opponent, how they sort things back and forth. But you're right. The change of pace here is definitely throwing Sentinels for a loop as G2 continue to pressure these objectives instantly. Back towards A here, and it's everyone there, right? They're looking for a fault line hit if they need it, and they're looking to get right into the site if possible.
Don't tell me Sen's will play a second time out soon.
Yeah.
So the amount of times that they've been buying half
which means next half we're going blind.
They want to fight this right away.
Flying through. Narrate opens up big though. Quickly traded back by Valen. The smoker, the controller, the IGL. Right at the front of the line to start this one is Seconds trying to get into a spot that could win this round back. It's already being waited on by Leaf though. Almost 3 they get on different levels, and the drone also makes it indecisive for where to put the shot.
And they're trying to flip So the IGL pushes down towards the screens, and he's trying to find an opening. Beg's waiting for him.
Hops right into sight. Zekin's gonna give everybody a little UAV situation. 2 from screens. They start to hop back in.
Nice stun.
The swings aren't happening together though. Almost these 1v1s being created. Trent from the outside, ready to hit that aggression from screens, and it's just Sentinels falling like flies on this one. One left, bang, trying to do what he can. Too much surrounding him though.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, John Cutie.
Time and
Jonah P.
Trent.
John and Jonah. The shots come through and Trent's gonna be able to do it. Oh my gosh. John Cutie goes down 6-2, or 6-3 rather, for G2.
Yeah, Util's just too good for G2. Even if Leaf, again, on those moments usually is good on like at least 1 or 2, but he gets the perfect information.
There should be a timeout thing where we could send it
down
guaranteed.
towards that ramp, and look how Valiant activates to push back towards the spawn. He nullified the dimensional drift out from Zekin.
Good move.
Because when Zekin found all that information, he actually flashed back towards that spawn so that Sentinels cannot come back to fight. They had good reads to play so passively in the very beginning, but going into the hit in itself, the util coming out from Trent and from Valiant was so nice to stop that.
That timeout button is getting pushed fast over there on the Sentinel side. I mean, Kaplan just has to get in their ear to tell them what is happening, what's going on, where can they reset, or maybe even say you have the right idea, stop second guessing yourself, right? It could be numerous things right now, but Sentinels is falling behind too much with 6 straight rounds in favor of G2 now.
I was just mentioned before that Sentinels like to get muddy. They love to fight as a group, and they don't mind to fight in the chaos. But the thing is, when they actually used that Armageddon on that previous round, Valiant that snuck through towards the entrance of the A site actually threw a smoke up towards the A ramp. But that actually just stopped Sentinels, and they didn't want to challenge through that because they were just afraid of the unknown of what was behind the smoke. But the Armageddon was already creating that space for them. They potentially could have moved down and find some good information and continue their trade out. But that little space that was given to the G2, you just saw what happened towards the end. A 3 versus 4, 3 versus 5 that came out in their favor. And Sentinels, you mentioned that red alert now coming out from Kaplan is, let's just try to salvage these last 3 rounds if we can. But he has nothing else to work with for the map.
A little bit of a learning round too here for G2 as they use Dimensional Drift. They see if Sentinels off that timeout would it retaliate on an A play like that. I like this. I like this. Sentinels though have their own strategy ready for it.
So says
He is just not having fun with the salvos today. Trent has his number. Flown in,
nice
Narrate takes down Jog. That's actually a huge one.
We still got number advantage,
can
but
just slow this down and take a breath.
But Plat now has Rolling Thunder available here for
Sen's definitely good tricks now.
Fault line should just go right past Valen. They could work off this together.
Jenna gonna alt screens, guaranteed.
Zekin waiting very far out. There's one last one they could hopefully get in. Oh, they smoke off actually where Zekin's going. Kind of pulling the attention of G2 away from that for a moment. The kills now towards sight, towards elbow. It's going to be John Cutie coming in for the kills. And they're not even going to need the other person.
They took both timeouts and 6 losses just to get that round. That's actually insane.
Son of discipline coming out there from G2 as well. As soon as
now
they
for the
lost
next
Trent in the very beginning towards the A main,
2 rounds plus next half, we're going blind. Also, they get 2 minutes to chat with Cap, but apart from that, they're gone. They can't talk anymore.
Turns out into a victory on their side. They could use that towards the end. But
let's go. Let's go.
Definitely see here that Sentinels are still ironed out here towards his retakes.
A big timeout there for Kaplan to get into the ear of the team. Can they continue this momentum? They have a lot of economy to work through on the side of G2 Esports before they'll feel comfortable. And they only have a few more rounds, so they should just see guns here for these last 2. They got to give it everything. Back to this solo.
Just again, TPs into mid.
Rolling Thunder and Pit are huge now for G2. So Sentinel's not fully out of this yet.
This B Heaven strat is so fast for G2. They teleport right in the mail room twice with Omen and Yoru. It's so hard to not get overrun by something like that. But now Heaven controls a little bit faster for Sentinel side. That's the change on this round. They didn't have this before. Oh, the timing!
Ooh!
It's gonna be just low
Second.
on Jogamo's shot. Zekin retaliates beautifully with that shot flick downward as the site trades come in strong. They do find Zekin towards the top as Valen tries to reorganize where he can be and what will be the safest in this 2v2.
We have no utility for this at the moment.
Fight from Zelsis.
Just looked away, the timing's there! Chooses the wrong target and Valen hits his.
Now they can take their time though for G2. Valen has, they're from the shadows.
Please don't
So
rotate,
they have
just
to
pitch
come down
it towards
to these
B.
trades where it might not work out for them. He could always TP away with the spike on his back.
30 seconds left.
They're gonna have to keep Sentinels guessing and force
Oh,
them
this
to
smoke.
peek out.
This smoke is crazy.
Didn't see him, just snuck through. But with that though, if the spike comes for a plant, John Cutie has his salvo, so they want to dodge off that first.
Oh no.
All right,
Double
they're just
fake.
Yeah, double fake. Just getting everything they can out.
10 seconds left.
Plant for Trent so he can get another point towards Armageddon and they get to post-plant position here.
And the TP was just to get John Cutie away, so he can't really get in range for the salvos to delay the plant on B.
One shot from Trent. They saw it. They know where Bang is. Easy play here. Trent backs up as far as possible, making it almost...
Don't TP.
Yeah, Armageddon comes through. You're not even going to get a chance to get onto this spike yet. Next tick gets the salvos, and you still have Valen just around the outside playing a little game of cat and mouse here with Bang. The final shots come through from the IGL, and they pick up another round.
And that's always what's so annoying when you have Trent alive with Armageddon and salvos. Remember, he had these type of clutches on Icebox on a 3 versus 1 as
They'll
well.
go low bracket for sure.
Yeah, but he's
I don't want to be a
alive on
doubter,
these
but
close
the way it's
match.
going at the moment, it
That's
definitely
one
is.
of the best tail that we have here in the Americas, maybe even the world. Just because he's so self-sufficient, knows the right timings, knows the game sense to stay alive here in these post-match scenarios when he needs to sneak back out of the outside of the site.
How many Tejo games in a row that he has? Because it's been a lot. That's
Yeah.
all he plays. You got to be afraid. This guy's Tejo. I mean, they even play that on Icebox too. And they have Trent for Sova. Wait, these shots coming out immediately. The speed on A again. Sentinels forego attacking this for a few rounds and then try to deliver the punch once again here. Up
Come
a
on, boys,
member
please
after
get us
plant.
found, please.
But under Paul, Sentinels doesn't seem to have had the best conversions and man advantages. G2 walking in for the contact, spotted by Narrate.
Smart play by Narrate, beautiful flash, beautiful teamwork. Bit of an extended high-low there, but they do lose each other.
GG's,
G2 figures out the
8-4.
play.
2v2, drone still available. That's going to spot John Cutie towards the screen, so they isolated one. Zelsis still has a window to surprise one, and now they just got both spotted.
Player standing.
Up to Trent.
Still gonna be 8-4.
Zelsis, we talked about winning so many clutches previously before. Can Trent, however, have the firepower for 2 of these members? Oh my God! The Red Bull clutch from Trent in the 1-2.
Switching sides.
They have no more timeouts. You can't do that.
Oh, that has to sting. Just the patience that he has. You just mentioned it. Trent, can he clutch the 1 versus 2? Didn't have util to work with and just waited to see where the footsteps were going to be. And that's a collat.
Oh, it's a what? It's a boop boop. You see that through shot too? Yeah. They'll have to call that timeout next half. Even getting the coach going, like we said before, when you're surprising your team like that, you know you're doing it right. 8-4 here. Sentinel started to punch back a bit, but is it enough? We'll find out when we come back.
But Captain needs to tear Sentinels apart, bro. Sen is not playing like how they should be. They ain't shooting, they ain't teamworking, I don't know, chap. Because no way they both are going to end up walking together like that, you know? Because that's just, I don't know. Like, even Derek had enough hit. I'm looking at his shooting, he's walking away.
G2 lead at the half, 8-4. After a 6-round run there in the first half, they started to run away with it. Sentinels only able to battle back a bit, but we still have a competitive scoreline going into the second half. Sen's attack could easily start to flip this map on its head.
When it was very one-sided for Sentinels against G2 before, though, it was Sentinels dominating on the defensive side. Now you definitely saw that there was a little bit of struggles coming across here once G2 started to get the money right. This time around, Sentinels has an opportunity to turn it back to their side. Four of them grouped together towards this B main. Really, the only responsibility is Valen trying to go for the little one-way smoke to see if he could spot some feet.
Oh, he knows, but he doesn't have
Nice.
aim anymore. Not just aesthetic on that one as Zekin comes in with one of the kills. It looks like G2 is actually trying to swarm the site, get in there to help Leaf, but do they need to help Leaf that much? He gets sorted out, and they will get the rest of the members there of Sentinels. Oh my God, Leaf.
How does Leaf still survive in that moment? So many players are coming across him, and he still stays alive. I think it was Narrate that was right in front of him towards that spawn and trying to get him with the classic and just couldn't. Where the opener was perfect for Zekin. They went for the TV, the flash. Yes, he was read by Valen, but he got hit by the fall line. He got fully blinded. A right click couldn't hit. And somehow Leaf solo inside the site that lays long enough that even if he falls, the rest of G2 is already on the rotate. A great start for G2 now, winning this second pistol. And we're tying 1-1, at least in pistols. But G2 has the lead by 5 in his first map.
And they love to have Leaf in situations like that. I think they give him the opportunity to play up, be a little aggressive, draw the util out of the opponent, and he's still staying alive. Like you said, how? You just ask questions when you're watching it. A little aggression from Zekin here as he tries to push back Jonah P.
All they want is a plat now for Sentinels. All of them grouped in together, and they have a chance. Spike's been given away here for Zekin to get the plat, to get closer to the dimensional drift, and we'll put that little check mark there for a dub.
A long-range 2x scope on that Jogamo. Just stinger from across a site. They look like they're trying to get in with a few more stingers. The deadly push coming through, and then Narrate's going to be able to answer with the
Yeah, let's
classic,
pick two
but
after
it
that.
is
Let's pick two.
not enough. G2 Swarm, G2W. They get another round for themselves here.
Not too bad there coming out for Sentinels to do that damage and to be able to get
Please
that
don't
plat.
13-4 again.
That previous round, you saw that we just mentioned before.
Last time
They're
Sentinels
so good
play
at
was
buying in
13-4
second
for
rounds with
that.
stingers. But the
Okay, how
reason
you
why you
think?
go for these buys are what helps you in these buys is you actually get the plat in the pistol round, which unfortunately Sentinels did not. But even if they're still trailing behind at this point, 9-4, they still went for a full classic round. So it seems that they still have faith towards what they could do here once they have their money right here on the attack.
And so the other buy is going to be Vandals, Phantoms. They do get the rifles in for Sentinels here. This bonus round is very, very big to keep G2's pressure at bay. Already the 10-4 is enough to deal with. And just a push towards main. So a little bit of an extremity hold here. But still giving G2 quite a bit of space to start the round as they have an eye on just about every angle.
Yeah, the name of the game for Sentinel so far is just to wait out and find that minute mark where the players could be.
Ooh. Hello.
Not really answering to that yet, though. No fault line to Salvos. They're just waiting here to just stop G2 or stop Sentinels on the hit.
Jeez. Even that activation you saw coming from Narrate, that was from mid, that fault line we just watched Jogamo jump out of. So they're trying to activate from across the map. Leaf ready to deliver the mail, and he gets one down. That's going to be too far for the Bucky, but the Stinger comes out strong. Another headshot coming through.
The winnable.
We see Jonah P go down as Zekin finally answers the situation. They have to limp into the site now. Actually, not too bad. Zekin's still pretty healthy off that engage. Oh, and heck of a swing there for G2 trying to combo that. It's up to Valen now. Almost won. The second. He's got the distance. Classic. Oh, he's indecisive about the weapon, and Zekin is not flying through the air to get a right-click win. A triple kill on that round and another one for Sentinels.
Split second there for Valen.
Yeah.
To potentially put the nail in the coffin onto Sentinels on the first map. But thankfully, Zekin once again is there to save it for Sentinels. But it looked so good here for G2 and how they played their bonus round. You saw that there wasn't an idea to do the trap play around the salvos and the fault line. You're just trying to find information, trying to suppress some players, and also just trying to stop and trade utility between both teams. And what to do after? Hold it to tight quarters because you have Buckies, you have Stingers.
Yeah.
You just let them run into you and get these picks. And Zekin, thankfully, with that last kill, and the clutch is able to get some information for Sentinels to activate towards this A site behind a Dimensional Drift.
He's in the site. Zekin is definitely spicing up things on the map right now, but G2 has kept him at bay from what his performance was yesterday. That's for sure. Let's see if they can get themselves back into the action here. A really nice site take towards A. Sentinels kind of has to stop giving G2 that respect. We hear a lot of teams say it. You just got to move this faster, more aggressive, and Bang is all over that.
All missiles away.
Into sight. Tempered engaged for now as G2 drops in for a moment. There's so much util to be fighting in the orb. The fight in the smoke, or rather the wall, as Leaf and Valen are just taking down the members trying to enter into the site, bottlenecked as they try to get through here.
No time.
And there it is. Jogamo grabs one. Leaf's already on the defuse, and that's going to be round 11 for G2.
It was close. I thought that Leaf was still too far back before he got in, but as soon as I heard that, we're good. But that said, you've just mentioned so much util being thrown towards Hell. That was the main choke point where everybody was focused on, because the Armageddon already pushed everybody back.
Yeah.
Sentinels knew that the flood was going to come back from Heaven and from A main just because of the Armageddon thrown by John Cute in the pulse plant. But high-low, verticality advantage coming out for
They played
G2.
4 off Teo solo.
It was just too easy to fight back towards the end there for G2. Two more rounds rather to close up the first map. They're gonna make things difficult here in round number 17. Already a thick pit towards middle.
Try to figure out how to dislodge him.
Exactly. It's so deep too that it doesn't allow for you to really get some good control towards the vents. So it looks like Sentinels has no choice but to work towards the extremities. Half buy that you have on their side. I mean, it even comes down to a force buy. They absolutely have no credits left to work with, and at this point, if they're going to play this slow, I think you're leveraging on Narrate to try to get an opening here with this Guardian.
Trying to sell something towards A. They might have gotten that teleport back just in range of Jonah P, though. You see no movement from G2. They're not buying that A distraction just yet. Jogamo hopefully getting the drone work. Drone on drone action. Ships in the night crossing. Now they just sit. Behind the column, the util keeps them protected for now, but Jogamo is trying to let them know where is the in the window to get back into this. Leaf's in sight, so's Valen, so's Jog.
GG's, chap. GG's.
From nowhere and take down
5.
Sentinels.
Little bit close.
Sentinels tried to go back for their pistol round that allowed here Zekin to get the opener onto Valen, but instead this time around, it's G2 holding them back with Jogamo, with the Dimensional Drift, able to escape all that util and find all of that information from a fault line to stall, the salvos to push them off the spike plant, and then also to just close the gap to get that done on the side of G2.
Dude, it felt like everyone came out of a Dimensional Drift. They just
It's not
popped out in the site.
so
That kind of teamwork is insane, and the reason we see G2 with so much consistency behind their plays. Stinger by for what could be the final round here as Sentinels try to keep themselves alive, and Leaf just snuffs Zekin as he sprints up mid.
And that's what makes it annoying, trying to play a judge inside mail. Thankfully, those Sentinels have control of B site, but they're fighting with Stinger's long range.
Bang playing a bit of a game, but knows it's death at the top of that rope as he bounces back into sight. 5v3, or if you're looking from Sen, the 3v5. As they have to hold this one. Signatures are up, more smokes there for Valen as they can create their own angles that they want to be looking at when they re-enter the site. Just waiting on the go button here. You can see Valen discussing what the next moves are. They're very happy to see those Tejo salvos.
This is fucked.
I think that's going to pretty much activate what they want to do here. Just a 1-2, where's the third? The punch comes across, but it's not going to be enough just yet. Trent gets another salvo kill here on Split as they end it out. It's going to be 13-5 in favor of G2. Full control of Split pretty much all throughout, and it's going to be a tough series.
Masterclass coming out for G2 for sure. Loud and proud, the IGL Valen standing up here, confident on the run that G2 could bring. And only need one more map to move into qualification to make it into Toronto.
Yeah.
But in the map itself here on Split, man, did they look good here on any type of forefront. From post plants to hits into the retakes that was displayed across. They learned their lesson the last time they played against Sentinels on this map, and they came back for revenge.
The positioning that they had, I think, for the amount of multi-kills we saw coming from multiple members at a time, right? It was just a row of G2 kills coming up. The speed, the pace at which they were able to go fast and slow and then reactivate on certain rounds. Incredible stuff. Sentinels looking to come back strong here as we get into our second map, but we go to a quick break first. Don't go anywhere.
I don't really like committing to things. I'm scared. But when Verizon announced that I could lock in a low price for 3 years, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Can you hear me now?
Now for Jaw. Oh dear. Don't start running. Don't start running.
And G2. This is their round. At least 4 in this game.
Second position on both long angle. But Zekin's still moving, and Zekin's just mowing them down.
Here with the coach of G2, Josh RT, running away with that classic Sentinel split. Not your map pick. We're going to your map pick of Icebox next. What was your plan for split when that was floated, when that was out there? It is a Sentinels kind of classic sort of thing. What did you expect, and how did you prepare for that?
Honestly, I expected like a tougher game there. Last time they took us away, and we honestly underestimated their split dominance. This time we pulled no punches. We prepared well, and I think the boys executed really well.
Why do you think they underperformed?
I'm not sure. I would have to watch the tape to really see, but I felt like we put the right pressures. Felt like they were playing a little passive. We read their initiatives really well. We knew the situations. Even their early timeouts gave me an opportunity to just correct little micro mistakes, and then we were always one step ahead.
All right, well, best luck in map 2.
And that's what it's all about right there. Oh,
that's dangerous. That's so dangerous,
That's such a bad idea.
That was such a terrible idea.
That's an expensive piece of
Minus
equipment.
$10,000.
More than that. Operator Gaston's gonna kill you. He's gonna kill you.
Big weird speed on that bear. Take the flag.
wait, just got word that came out of your paycheck. All right, everyone. So, we are professionals.
We're talking about the first map?
We are professionals.
That had to do with Canada. It was really topical.
Yo, G2 exec really well. Why don't we show that clip?
Before they fire me, I want to talk about this round because I thought this was really nice. G2 gets more value out of their Teodrome than I think most other teams do these days. They're almost always, when they're going for these kind of execs, have the TP set up, send in the drone, and they're holding the rest of their initiator util if they don't catch anything off that drone. Then this next layer is always so high quality to go in with the missiles.
That's actually unfortunate for Celsius, bro.
And they completely
Oh, and
decimate
as well.
Celsius here. And this is something G2 is doing on almost every map, on almost every attack round, of picking the perfect moments when they actually need their initiator utility. They're never just sending it because.
Yeah, a lot of other teams, I think, will just go into the motions of it, right? They'll just be ending up using their salvos to try and assist and get the Europlay into the back site and try and let that happen. But they're just reading the moments really well. I mean, Josh RT was saying, even in that interview, they were just one step ahead over and over again with their read overall on that map on Split. And they made it just look like just child's play for them, to be honest. They were just running rings around Sentinels overall, and they said that Sen are going to need to win this one in 2, to be honest. Split dominance in that fashion as well. We're now heading over into Icebox as well as a bit of a preview, but even before we get into that, I mean, dude, it's just... This is going to be more than an uphill struggle, I think, for Sentinels themselves. G2 often bring the best out of them as a team.
Something I wanted to note real fast, though, was Josh RT's interview. Him saying, like, I expected it to be tougher. I expected a little bit more pushback. But that was not the case, and you could see clearly why. I mean, you had so many moments where G2 just had the reads on them.
Yeah, and even when rounds were going wrong, it felt like they were winning every clutch. Trent, in particular, was incredible in these late rounds. I think of that 1v2 where they just line up. One bullet gets him with the Vandal. He has been on point. We were already talking about how good his utility is, but he's also showing up in these individual moments in the late round, Bren.
It's the way that they empower him as well. G2 as a team, they will try and set up Jordan for success occasionally as well, but often Trent is going to be the one taking advantage of the space that the rest of his team is making, and Jorg is making himself as well, and being that second person in to be able to trade out often and being last alive into the clutches as well definitely helps his case. There's that moment you were describing. It's absurd as well, because with a team like G2, they don't just have one quality in space. They've got almost every quality in terms of individual firepower, coordination. You can just tell looking at them that the comms are so clean every single time they're in a situation. Barely ever does this team misplay with the utility.
4.8 KD.
It's unheard of.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Genuinely.
It looked like a cakewalk for Trent this game. He was winning every gunfight. You had no doubt that he was winning.
This is a match that's going to qualify you to Toronto as well, and they're doing it like this. They're doing it like this.
It's scary, honestly, with the way that they played that. I don't know, Mimi, how Sentinels look to respond, but we're going to Icebox. What are we expecting here?
I mean, there has to be a complete turnaround, but this is another strong map for G2, so need Kaplan to pull something big out for him.
All right, well, guys, let's go ahead and hear what the Sentinels coach, Kaplan, had to say as we get ready for map 2.
Here, the coach of Sentinels, Kaplan. They ran away with your map pick of Split, the classic Sentinels Split. A bit of an underperformance that we're not used to from Sentinels. What went wrong?
I mean, first of all, I want to give G2 credit. They're a great team, and I think they had a lot of cool strats, and they came out swinging. They played that really well. Obviously, at 13-5, I don't think that explains it. I don't think they're that much better than us. I think we're having a real hard time playing the way we usually play. I think we're a bit the stakes. The opponent is getting to us more than it needs to, and I mean, that's all that matters right now. Just making sure for map 2 we play like ourselves. Whatever happens, happens, but I really hate to not show up for anyone here, so.
Best of luck.
Why'd you JP jerking that off back there, bro? You know, see
you
that?
heard Coach Kaplan there. I mean, of course, if anyone knows his guys, it's him, and he knows when they're playing their best, when they're a little rattled, and he could definitely tell that they were rattled there.
But this is going to be a tough game. G2's only played Icebox once this stage, but they had a dominant win on the map. They played the same comp they did last year with the Harbor Viper, and I want to highlight Jaw on the Gecko. He's so good at using his util perfectly, and then once that's gone, he's fighting into backside. He's going so far forward and fully disrupting the opponent's retake. That's something they have to be ready for if Sen want to bounce back.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Cap as well. He's not overselling anything for the second map, honestly. He knows that they haven't showed up here, but genuinely, this is going to be such a struggle for them as well. Even though we haven't seen that much of Icebox from G2, they've really distilled it down to basically just trying to exemplify, I think, why post-plan util is so strong in this map. It's going to be tough for Sentinels. It's going to be tough.
Without a doubt, folks. All right, well, our second map is going to be Icebox. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Just got word. Mimi's fired. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for us here. We'll be back after this quick short break, and Mimi's got to look for a new job. Poor Goose, man. Poor Guillermo.
Honestly, chat, Sen actually deserves to lose this game at the moment. Because if that performance from last game is continuing into map 2, then G2 deserves to win. We might as well get a Sen plus 100 piece now.
Welcome back to
I mean, it could
VCT
be a lot.
Americas. We are ready for map 2 here in our second series of the day. G2, we heard the desk.
Yeah, 100 piece for Sen will play.
Here, because Sentinels have to come out swinging.
And I'm scared now because they're
So
going
no-
into Icebox. Sentinels last time they played it, they only played it once so
we
far.
will
They played
know
against Crew.
Sen
Crew
will go
came
get
out with
100
this
piece,
double
we'll do
controller
that.
setup
Yeah.
with
Not
the
scared
Harbor
already.
and the Viper, something that Sentinels had a hard time dealing with. But
Which
now we're
means
going
Sen
into
got
this
to play
game.
2 more
Oh
games
my God,
just
okay,
to
wait,
get their
hold on.
seed.
Sentinels
Be
come to
top
with
3.
something new here, and they're almost exactly. They're almost mirror comping G2 if G2 plays the same composition, which then means here that they're pulling out the Gecko, but instead of playing the Harbor, they're going with an Omen. So you want to
Wait,
add
who's
a little bit
taking
more verticality going to how you want to exit into these sites. Because again, you're looking at this, both teams are not playing any duelists. For the side of
Wait, who's
G2,
second
the
playing?
way that they're playing it, they're scaling
I was
quite
looking.
well thanks to the Harbor. But on the side
It should
here
be
of
Gecko, no?
Sentinels,
It's
I'm
not because Gecko's
expecting
right
to
at the
get
end, too.
a lot of
That
that
was
verticality coming out
thingy.
from Zekin to allow Sentinels to get a little more space, a little bit of crosses.
Wait,
to
who's
allow
second
to open
playing?
up the sites, and they have a chance to do that now for Sentinels because they start on the attack.
Remember, this does mean a spot
Oh, is that
in
Omen?
Toronto
That's Omen,
here.
right?
Sentinels trying to keep this series alive. G2 could lock it down right here with the 13 rounds in their pocket. I'm sure Sentinels won't make it as easy on this. We're going to get into the map. Icebox, we see teams now bringing out the Geckos. I'm excited. These changes late in the season here. Let's see what teams cook up.
Yeah, pistol rounds
He's
already
on
underway, and Sentinels
Yeah,
are
okay.
kind of running things just like G2. A lot of pressure towards this B side on the pistol, trying to scout out where the defense could be. But it's a full setup for G2. Leaf has set his turret up towards this B site. Just
I
to
don't
try
think
to
that's how
get
I got scanned or
information.
info.
The pressure's coming towards mid and set, so they can try to go for this pinch.
But away now.
Already around yellow. Sentinels moving quite quick, but do they know how many will be around?
Yeah.
The flank splits up.
Oh,
Bailey
boy.
with 2 classic. Easy as they just come around the corner all willy-nilly on the side of Sen.
Nice Zeus.
Zalsis is able to push forward. Everybody's getting a little tricky here as they don't know where the full capacity of each team
And
is.
chill,
They're still
chill.
trying to seek each other out. One more trade goes through and very low health here for G2 to get back into the site.
Hilo is too good at the start for G2. Both players of Sentinels are isolated, though.
That's unlucky.
Just gooped on there, and they have to get now to John Cutie. Takes down one, turns, almost gets
Please.
the 180. But it is just going to be a quick classic. Wingman's already on the defuse, and that's going to be enough. A round win for G2. They secure
Bro,
another
what's up,
pistol.
map
That was such a solid
positioning?
hole for G2 in the very
Our
beginning.
map positioning is
You mentioned how many
awful.
players will be flanking towards that back for the set of G2.
Bang, trying to
And
take
it
a
was
1
split
versus
second
3
where the
mid,
turret
bro.
was down, but it came back up on time for
going
Zelsis
on?
to spot that. And that call just activated Sentinel to try to push back towards the back of
That
the
was
B
it,
site.
standing in one of the most
You have a
exposed
high-low
spots.
from the top of the bridge and kitchen towards the back of the site. They weren't ready for it from the side of Sentinels, and G2 were just able to play full man advantage.
Our
throughout the
position
whole
right now is
pistol.
is
Now building
shit.
to a very strong second half. An Outlaw already comes out here for the side of Jonah P,
Yeah.
allowing for them to play a little bit more of a 4-1 setup here on this Icebox defense.
It is nice. We don't even see Jonah with it, but it is perfect for that B-long position. They have Kitchen covered. He's going to be right under the tube. Leaf making the stinger sing, and he does it again. A third one.
Oh,
No.
my.
Boys.
Oh, Jogamo! Stealing that away. Possible ace. That's all right, though. Bye-bye Power taking a breath. They've seen too many lately. Jonah P finishes up that
Yeah, I know
one,
it's pistol,
and
but
it is going to be 2 here. For
taking 1 by 1 after the
And
past
he
dies is
late
insane.
lemmings going into the kitchen.
Yeah.
So much util to stop towards that back, though. The Gecko flash towards that top really didn't allow Sentinels to play and trade as a group. And speaking of playing as a team,
The
this
comp is
time
more
they're gonna
defense,
outlaw on
but
the side of Jogimo.
I don't know.
For this buy, Sentinels already respects it because of that second round shot. That you have Jonah P already getting that first pick. So all
I thought this map is
fight
more
those shields on
defense
the
side
side of
anyway.
Sentinels at the same time.
Especially with these comps, it makes it more
Their
defense.
economy. They have to be flawless in this round to try to tie things up.
Oh, boys, 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 boys. Yes.
It's expected on
Yes.
both sides. Bang is so ready in a third one. Trent knows there's going to be more of a fight here. He has to get out safe somehow.
Nice.
That swing, Bang finds a 3rd kill and is going to get a 4th point for the ultimate on this round. Leaf is getting pretty close pretty quick here. Not waiting for
Nice.
the team. He just goes for the swing. That was an abrupt stinger swing for sure. And now we'll just see if they can take down.
Somehow we're gonna get
Bowser as
battles
he
in the
gets
chat.
deep.
Somehow we're gonna get people going everywhere.
Yeah, you're
in
trying
their
to do as much
positions.
damage as possible, pop damage, so that Jogmo can get 1 shots across the board. That
Yeah.
would take down actually 3 of them.
Oh.
First with a headshot.
Okay, good.
Judy answers back. It was a heady play, trying to tick off the armor there, but another one goes, or I should say the first for this map in Sentinel's favor.
And that was good for Sentinels to stay back towards the spawn for the very beginning. The bonus round, they learned a little bit from Split that G2 likes to play areas where you can close the gap. And when you're playing on a map like Icebox, where a drone could be very good here, the stealth drone from the tail, but you're trying to close as much as possible, trying to rush into
So yeah,
barrage
chat,
and
I'm
they
actually very
hear
ill
that
at
drone.
the moment.
But they peek, they get punished. And Sentinels, we mentioned they needed a clean round, and they got it. Full rifle rounds for both teams, though. And you'll see this pressure continue on from both sides. This is something also
A little
that
bit damage
Trent
on
has been
Jogmo.
doing with the salvos at the very beginning. We'll talk that point in a little bit here because Zekin is looking for control and for some space in front of this A site.
Pushed up
Second has
so
good spot right now.
far here, just on the other side of the wall.
The one that wall drops kind of
One
good.
smoke pops doesn't get a
He moves.
headshot off of that wall diagonal.
That sentry might be an issue.
And they just reset.
That's
But
right.
it's all about Bang right now and how much info he can grab in this position. Inserted so far into kitchen.
That's so nice.
They're not even thinking about it. Oh, there's the timing. Oh, Leaf turns at just the last moment. You have to be kidding. And now they're forced to push into sight. G2 know they have a lock on where the rest of the members are, basically. And they are going to give them space before the retake. Oh, yep. How many spams? How many shots? This smoke. They tried
That's
to
my
break the
pick.
smoke
There's no
without
way we lose
any
it, chat. There's
utility.
no way.
And just on the other side, Sentinels waits with open
Perfect.
arms. Another
I actually
one
thought
for
it was Jordan
Zekin
about Seldom.
and a second round for Sentinels.
The push and pull was very nice for Sentinels there. And then you also see why Zekin is playing this Omen for the side of Sentinels and instead of playing a Harbor, smoking out the turret, allowing Bang to move up. And even if he dies, it pulled out the rotate from G2 back towards the A main, towards the screens, so that Sentinels could actually start moving into the A site. And not only that, continue to push towards the screen to keep everybody isolated from G2 on the outside of the site. Fighting through the smoke, the
So
second
crazy.
smoke being thrown by Bang, or by Zekin, sorry, was perfect.
Let's go.
Those cleanups. And the hype from
They don't have to
Zarsis
scream a lot more
is
because of
there.
like he's the most energetic
Here,
person.
Sheriff's
So
here
if he's not
for
screaming and
G2.
hyping up the team, then Sen loses.
They go into
So I
this
feel bad,
round.
but he's actually basically forced to hype up regardless of how the round goes.
And I love that point about
Like, even
G- or
if the
Sentinels
round
having the
is
Omen.
shit,
Part of the having
he has to
Harbor
force
here
it,
was
and
to
that's
have
not so
it
bad.
push the Sova to be able to move up in layers.
And let's say
It
they
just
use
seems like having that
portals
Omen
and everyone dies
allows them to
and
keep
it was
fighting
barely,
the angles
you know,
they
a win.
want overall.
Like
And
barely,
also,
luckiest
to
win ever.
discuss again this
So bad.
initiator coming out here from Trent and Jogimo, and also from Naren Dark Cutie. Why no Sova? The tail salvos are just good enough here to take full control of pipes and in front of orbs.
Bang.
You can't really run forward. You'll need to find that information first.
Nice.
With a recon dart, because you could just brute force your way through.
Yeah.
With the salvos and fight for trades.
I'm gonna do it again, chat.
Now you see an eco
For a
coming up
while.
for G2. They tried to go for a peek towards middle. Couldn't do any damage there. And Sentinels, they could just min-max the orbs, min-max some kills, and build up their ults here in the next round.
Pressure towards A does not seem like they're
Nice.
used too much since B is taken, but Sentinels are really gaining control of the map here and not giving up that space when they know they have the better weaponry.
Fucking huge, fucking huge.
You can't be shy to G2 at any point in time, or they
Alright,
will
we'll
attack.
let round-
And
we'll let round
Sentinels push
momentum
even
now.
harder when they know they can go for the throat on this round.
Once again, the value of Zekin on this Omen. Trying to create space for the team. You just saw there as he TPs on the top of yellow, it
that
forces
shot on
players
Leaf.
of G2 to turn around and try to focus on him so the rest of Sentinels could just scale behind.
High five, Keeper.
And it seems Sentinels still wants to keep doing this conditioning. The salvos will continue up here. The wall comes out on the defensive side though, and Valen scales into the nest. A great spot, because when this calms down, you'll probably see a couple of players of G2 start falling back, and the responsibility of right now for Leaf is to play soft.
So what's the protocol here for Sentinels, right? They have identified that was a push. Like, we haven't seen this before. What are they going to do? And it's second to teleport across, just like you said, creating that space, helping the team get a forward position, but they have to be wary. Do they have that wall to go up for Bang just yet? Oh my gosh. Doesn't seem like they have a wall just yet, but they'll Armageddon. They'll put everything else over here towards the site as Leaf gets himself to safety on that.
And he wants to play an aggressive position here on the top of the site. One pick allows for him to get the lockdown, and you can trade out these ults.
Thrash goes through. Bang is able to start returning the favor. Lockdown almost gets thrown, but it was in such an open position. It's instantly thwarted. And now the 2v3. G2 still have stopped the plant, but now they'll have to look to get the defuse as Zelsis throws it down on the site.
And this should guarantee it for Sentinels. Zelsis has his own lockdown.
And we
They
must
have to
have
get down
commit
to that,
for
they
a
push them back, and
defuse.
then you have a pit from
Second
Bang.
2
So
HP.
The last two players of G2 definitely already falling back. But you saw how you were just so tunnel visioned on the side of Leaf. As soon as he gets the pick, he throws out the lockdown.
going
And he's
to
trying to
actually
plant it,
get
but at the
picked.
same time, doesn't really pay attention to his surroundings, that his teammates are actually
Right.
falling down. So you have a couple of
Yes,
players
sir.
of Sentinels slipping
He's
through the
missing.
cracks and able to capitalize on that pick. And the silver lining is that he still has it going into the next round now for G2.
True, he didn't get the activation, so it just got destroyed. But you're right. It's maybe he was thinking people were snowman, people are over to the right side, able to see across the map.
Yeah.
In that situation towards B, and that it goes to show how fast Sentinels are also moving to be in that position where we were just praising Leaf for having the 1v1 effect where you can get yourself into a spot that's draining the enemy's utility. This time he gets taken down before being able to use his. Let's see it all again. As they just fly, oh, through the thrash, that's dirty.
It's almost two with this comp you can play.
They have 4 guns.
You can definitely see here that they have kind of like double drones into these ults when you have the Thrash available for the side of both teams for G2 and Sentinels. But now this timeout comes through, and I think it's important. So far, you've seen Josh RT do a lot of these early timeouts for the team where he already has a good read into the game. He probably already knows the type of protocols that Sentinels are kind of doing right now to execute towards these sites. So do you actually want to start saving your salvos to just land him where Bang could be TPing, or sorry, Zekin could be TPing it across? Or how do you just want to fight back maybe in fort positions here that Sentinels are, they're allowing Sentinels to take, especially on this B side at the very beginning?
It's a nice job. I think usually when we see G2 fall, if you think back to C9 G2 Haven, it was about Nets lurks on that. So the lurks, a lurker being able to get under the skin of G2, able to take out how they're playing and not allow that protocol post-plant retake they're so good at.
And that's a great point, because so far Sentinels hasn't been needed to use that yet.
Right.
If it comes down to those moments where Bang could activate a little bit more, yes, they did it when he did the push and pull towards that too, but so far just the brute forcing from Sentinels has been good enough. And that could also be the next thing of conversation, the next point of conversation that Kaplan could instill here with the Sentinels team.
All right, let's see how G2 comes out of this timeout. What they have on their plate. 3 ultimates ready. Oh no, sorry, 2 ultimates, or 1 ultimate, yeah, 2 ults ready on their side. Thrash, as well as that lockdown we still have from Leaf. And they're gonna actually be pressured again towards that B site. See if they get the lockdown earlier than later on this. With a push here from the right side too, Jogamo should be able to tell G2 this is a B hit.
Yeah. They've already went for the drone in the very beginning. So again, the 2 players on the B side have to play a little bit more soft. You see here that you're playing very passively for Leaf, trying to activate here with the lockdown. If you're going to use that and push it back towards Jogamo, although Bang is already watching that flank. Sentinels are kind of pinned towards the spawn though, and they might have to commit towards this B side, but thankfully, as you've mentioned, they have this lockdown to open it up.
They could stall on both sides with this. Does Leaf answer right away? He's actually on the outside, so they're going to wait, use their lockdown for retake from the side of G2. And we're just going to get a breathing moment here as the team's set up for sight.
Still not too sure yet with this lockdown that was placed down by Leaf. Because they could just wait this out for Sentinel. The wall could come back up, then they have to pit for the post plant.
I thought that was going to be coming in much later. Zelsa's kill comes in now onto Trent, though. They're waiting patiently for Zekin and the team to push through. They know Sentinels want to take a bit more space here. It's going to be tough to all hide on that B main, and Valen starts to collect another head on this. Sentinels falling left and right as Leaf finds another, a third, and possibly a fourth, but no, it's Valen. Leaf, it's a full house between those two. With Valen's defuse, they do pick up a round after the timeout.
And that's why I was going to mention the lockdown would have been perfect to counter into the pit. And if you're going to use it early, you're hoping that the rest of G2 could follow behind a Thrash on a retake. And again, it's G2. So they followed behind that towards the end and got the perfect picks coming out from Leaf.
Man, you just see how sorted they had Sentinels. How many members of Sentinels were actually looking at the person killing them there?
Nate.
Not
Thank
many.
God for Nate.
So the speed
Holy
G2
shit, I'm
hit
the
back
best player
with.
on this map, bro.
Maybe not on that lockdown round, but definitely on that retake.
Yeah.
One
With a
round
grain of
separates
salt.
these two teams now, and it seems like Sentinels, after getting snuffed out here on the pulse line towards the B site, but they don't have too many ults to work with. Now they can leverage verticality with Zekin towards this A site. Already TP on top of pipes, yeah.
Ready for the fight. Backs up if this goes away and that wall doesn't give him necessarily the right angle. He says, wait a minute. Pinged me out.
And here are those lurks that we were just mentioning here from Sentinels that they haven't really utilized yet, and they were doubling up in the first place.
Interesting. They're giving over Zelsis for this lurk now, along with Bang to start off, just making sure it's not going to be a lost fight if they do have to get into some back and forth. But no real push and pull just yet. I feel like G2 has met Sentinels right at the front door each time here. Towards mid there, towards pipes at A. So it's almost going to have to be a reset for these signatures. The salvos, the skills.
Ooh. This is the biggest fight right here.
Faked him out with the up and down on the wall. Jonah P gets a beautiful kill on the lurk. But they still have to worry about Bang making his way towards middle. Seems like G2 already has A sorted, and it should not be a problem for the time being.
I mean, you've lost all that space towards the garage, and now you're wasting time too, staying as a group, and Jonah still has a snake bite to work with.
Left.
So if they're trying to push and engage back towards B main, he could still stall and delay. Walking towards middle, the alarm bot's gonna come up, and G2 should be ready for this still.
They just drone towards A. So G2 should know they can all start to rotate out. Yep, finding themselves the clear here. Oh no, he puts his weapon away! Neri goes for the util. Bang and John Cutie aren't ready. Jonah P grabs 4 as Leaf collects the round. 4-4 on the scoreline now.
And that's what happens when you're wasting too much time on the side of Sentinels. They've lost so much space. You've already lost your drone at the very beginning when you're trying to find info on A site. Then now you have to play contact, and then you can't even play contact anymore because there's only 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
So you're not clearing your angles. You're still thinking that Jonah P's holding up towards the garage. He goes on at 10, and it's three kills.
Jeez. That's the play, Jonah P. Play safe, play smart. That's what it gets you. My gosh. I think even in the vibes that we're seeing here, when we go from Josh RT to Kaplan, one's just smiling, laughing, and Kaplan's like, okay, we need to do this, we need to do this. Like G2 may be feeling different, and Sen needs to shut that down now and find their momentum, find their flow state. Leaf starts off here with the first blood. Bang answers back, or Bang gets answered rather.
Good pick, no.
Still a fight towards B. Drones, clears.
Come Marshall.
This would be the back and forth that Sentinels need here. They need to stop this economy of G2 and get themselves back in. Was it this star? What star do you aim at? What star? Throwing Mosh over towards the spike. No, over towards back, so they get dispersed from hiding on yellow.
Hit the lineup, boys.
It almost
Nice.
works. Sentinels
Nice.
is so ready for the trade, though, as they
Okay, boys.
reposition and take down G2.
It's getting kind of more close now.
And that's a huge round for Sentinels. Very difficult to enter towards the B site when you've already lost Bang in the very beginning.
Yeah.
There's no wall to block it up, and Neri just says, I'm going to up the tempo. I feel that I have a timing. I'm going to push up in the front, and he gets 2 backstabs. Maybe not the kill on the second one, but already gained all that space to allow for him to just
Don't kill
things
Wingman.
down.
Nice go.
That was a very nice answer back onto Sentinels after getting dismantled by Jonah P's position.
Yeah.
On the previous round.
Gotta shake it off.
Exactly.
A few early salvos you heard on the other side of the map, which probably means we'll get about a 1-minute hit if they don't find any frags coming over to this side of the site. A little slow down from Jonah P. Playing very close, though, for the unknown here. Ooh. Oh my gosh, Celsius goes down. The paranoia kind of locking him in, I think, for a second, not realizing what the situation was.
And that's a spike, too. Now being picked up, but Zekin cannot really TP away, so it forces Sentinels to push inside
Not
B.
again. Not
Marshall?
again. Keep the guns out.
Marshall?
Right. He goes down. 2 bullets left for Jonah P. Again, he still peeks. Help just over the shoulder. Sentinels try to reorganize. How do they get back in? Bang looking for that opening kill.
This is going to be so difficult. They have Reckoning right away from Valen. He gets dropped, but they're still at a 2-player advantage for G2.
tried to play the up and down wall. John Cutie in a great position here. He's pressed a little bit forward, but they can't really help each other in this situation. It's going to take solo star power from the positions they're in. Leaf on one, and the second one's not going to make it. The dance around from Jogamo, so Trent can get the kill on John Cutie. And a defuse comes in for
The
G2
awareness is
to tie
dead.
us up
Awareness
again.
is also shit, Chad.
I'm not too sure towards the end of the round though if they saw
I
that
don't know if I'm going to PTH you. I might just
even
might
that,
end stream chat.
that aside at the very beginning of
I
the
read
round,
that for a
G2 did
while.
a great job just strengthening towards the B side. When they realized here that Sentinels were actually adding a lot of pressure towards this B side, punishing Jonah at the very beginning in round number 10.
Oh, he got team paranoia.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
And because of that AWP that they utilized on the A side for Jogamo, they could actually strengthen that B side for G2. And yeah, again, just a little bit of misluck out for Sentinels, but G2 is able to tie this game up. And thankfully, though, it's a different story from the first map. We're going back and forth. It's 5-5. There's still a lot of fight left for both of these teams here. Going into round number 11, as Sentinels are actually adding, once again, more pressure towards A side. G2 wants to pressure back towards middle, and his early drone allows Leaf to push down and gain that space and prevent a rotate from happening.
Yeah, why not get Leaf a lockdown? Either way, kill or be killed. He comes into the final round with an ult here. But beautiful insert positioning. Sentinels knows they don't have any of that coverage behind. They'll be forced to work forward, but I feel like they're almost good in, not almost, but they're almost ready for this position a lot of times and good in the situation.
See how I'm about halftime.
Firing the Armageddon towards the backside. Well, they know they're going to have sight with Armageddon. G2 won't play in sight for that pain, but they will answer back.
Plant still goes down, though it missed.
Ooh.
Towards in front of Jenny.
Haven't seen that plant in a long time. It's easy to post plant, but oh my god, they're not even going to have to try. Leaf gets presented with a 1-2-3. Easy as that, and Jonah P gonna give that one
how far does those push up? They were passed because the sentry didn't scan.
The ring.
How far does those
yeah,
push up?
6-5 here for G2. It just looked like Sentinels
I need to see a
was
minimap.
not ready for what they were getting hit with.
I mean, that's just unfortunate, too. You had to fight in the front of the site to allow this plant to go down, to set up here for Zelsis to throw his nanostorms down.
I think he went too far. When you get past, like,
and when you throw a reckoning for the retake
last
for
spot,
Valen and
where he's
Leaf is
standing,
there on that
your
flank,
sentry goes down.
I don't even have to shoot nobody. I'm just jumping around.
That's what I'm saying. It's just Leaf being the best on the map right now, as he mentioned before, and he's able to just isolate all of these fights because of that reckoning that was thrown by Valen. It looked easy on the side of Leaf, but there was still a lot of util for G2 to not allow Sentinels to set up here on the pulse plant.
I feel like that works for Jogamo. Last time we talked to him about the Gecko play, since it's one of his most recent, he said, I just got to use the util, right? Use it and pick it up. Use it. So if he doesn't have to shoot, then he's got all the time in the world to use that util and help the team get into situations.
Remember when they had this drone and also the thrash from Narrate? They're utilizing it as a double drone, so already gaining that space in the very beginning towards B. Yeah. And then Narrate's moving forward, so they could probably leverage the thrash.
Zelsis, what do you hear? Seeing if he can get some footsteps and find the back of any of these members coming through, but look at Leaf. Leaf still wondering what's going to be coming out of A. The entire team actually not buying this so far, fans.
TP for the A side plant. Zelsis has a huge responsibility to try to get this pick if they're trying to flood back in.
Oh, the #1 job right now. They're not even going to try. They don't know who's actually made it in off the timing, so G2 just go for a regular post-plant retake. The 5v5 is going to occur here for the last round of our first half. Oh, jazz hands. Half defuse doesn't get hit. There's going to be some utility coming out here. Jogamo answers with 1, and we stay at half. 2v4. G2 trying to get these members back into the site as they're getting swarmed by Sentinels now, and it's just looking like too much for G2 to overcome. But Jonah P has one, can't find a second as Narrate locks that in.
Alright, let's put one more on chat and I'll see how I feel. If I feel like I can get through the rest of the game, I'll go ahead and finish it. If not, I'm going to end it.
Just throwing the boomerang thrash here to force the rotate over, and Zelsis cannot punish anybody rotate across, but at least he gets space. And that's a beautiful call coming out from John Cutie. That we haven't seen that all throughout the whole half for Sentinels. So for G2, they were thrown for a loop, and that means that for the second half, I'm expecting more ace under the sleeves from both of the teams.
Good job.
I feel like Marshall's ult to protect Celsius and
even 6-6 as we get into this first half of split. And we're going to be a little go to something a little different this time. We're going to be tossing to Liz on stage.
Marshall's
with
ult
Imi
saved them.
and
That's huge.
Thank you so much, Vansili and Riv. And yes, I have the coaches of Cloud9 with me, Immy and Googly. Now, if you watched the games yesterday, you saw, yes, you can give it up for them. You can give it up. Because, because if you watched the game yesterday, it was a hard-fought battle, but we sadly said goodbye to Cloud9 yesterday. Immy, I'm gonna go to you first. We saw you in the coaching booth. We saw you afterwards. What was the immediate conversation afterwards with the team after the loss?
Just making sure everyone was okay. That was the main thing. Like, I was more sad than ever. Last year, I was angry at my team. This time, I was just sad for them.
Googly, going to you next. This is, you know, obviously this is your first time being in the States with them. You were in Italy, I believe, or last time before you came here. Being in person, experiencing this loss, what was that like?
It was nice to see the players, be able to talk to them and be able to like work for what we want to do next. Like that's the most important thing. Like what is the next step for us?
Now, going to you, Immy, you are best friends with Zelsis. For those of you who don't know, Sentinels Zelsis on stage, currently focused on the game, is best friends with C9 Immy. What would it mean for you for him to qualify to Masters Toronto as his best friend?
Well, I lose him for a month, but other than that, I really want him to win. Like, he messaged me yesterday to see if I was okay. I was like, don't worry about me. Just go out there and win tomorrow, and I'll be there supporting.
Well, when he watches his back, what do you want to say to him?
That I love him.
Anything you would like to say to anyone on Sentinels?
Good luck.
Simple as that. And what can we expect a Cloud9 Champions visit next year in Stage 2?
I think we're definitely capable of it. We just have to figure out this playoff issue and just really grind into why it's happening, and hopefully we can make it out.
Well, thank you so much. Everyone get it for Immy and Googly one more time. But we have a 6-6 hat to get back to you, so friends, please take it away.
Thank you, Liz and Immy and Googly. I didn't know we had that much space on stage to fit that much brain power, but we do. We do indeed. And we're also watching the cinema that is G2 and Sentinels here. The brain power of Valen and John Cutie call these two teams.
I didn't see his tweets. I know G2 and Sentinels did tweet something.
On split, but it is G2 with that first map ban. So Sentinels, they have no room to let up here.
Sentinels tweeted, look.
G2 likes to scale behind a harbor wall on the B side and leverage a flash to take control of B. Sentinel still decides to play a solo player towards this B side.
They took round 6.
All of them being stacked up on the middle for the rest here for Sentinels. And they're expecting some sort of a pump back towards mid. But unfortunately for them, it's a wrong call for now.
Salvo's in a ghost. Secondary wall goes up, and they've really already taken that zone 1 of space here, so no problem. Of course, Valen will go ahead and connect with the narrate to start off on this pistol round, and that's huge.
Okay,
the
like
Gecko util for retake is
teams.
one of the biggest things you're going to want to have if you're bringing that to Icebox now, and it's gone for Sent.
Definitely stayed a team like 100 Thieves on this map when they had that Gecko for the defuse, or the wingman for the defuse, rather. But this time around, you had to force the body on it.
Swinging in, Valen
Nice
with
bang,
2 on the
good
round,
trade.
but he goes down, done his job for sure. But Bang, John Cutie, and Zekin are ready. Half defuse puts them in a pretty good spot here, but they still have to source out the rest of the members of G2. Very, very close. Oh, they can't get it. Leaf goes in and gives him a hug. The knife kill to come out as well, and it's not going to be enough as the salvos are already ringing true on the spike. Trent. Absolutely amazing to get the clutch in the pistol round for G2.
And Jogimo, who's mentioning that all he does in his server is jump around, jumps inside the smoke for a knife kill, headshot onto Bang. And you keep Trent alive in the post plant. He's alive with the salvos.
You got a
and that's G2 with the pistol.
Oh my gosh. And they feel comfortable doing that. They know what the situation is. They know the chaos they have to create. But still you have Trent, like you mentioned, not in that chaos, off to the side, win condition in mind that I just have to stay alive, and it helps collect the round. So many pieces to the puzzle there, and they're all working very well together for G2. And the sum of the parts come together for Sentinels is the question here. Pistol round is going to put the pressure on right away, Vance.
The stack that you have for Sentinels, it's not going to be the best. Maybe the smoke could help them so far. And he won't.
No. Just cleaning up left and right for this. Is they're actually looking to keep this one flawless probably as they go through the round to make sure it feels that much better.
Yeah, and Sentinels, you saw the flash coming out from Zekin. But he couldn't really flood outside of that smoke because Zekin was throwing a one-way on top of that to just try to fight under that smoke if G2 were going to try to flood through. So no punishment be done either. It's very clean for the side of the attack. They still have a pretty decent minor bonus. So Guardian is on the side of Trent. They could utilize that for long-range battles on top of the belt.
Yeah.
And then a double Bulldogs for Jonah P and Jogimo.
We're already seeing the way the harbor walls are working for G2 too. They're just like, we put up a wall, we will walk up to that wall. And Sentinels are, they have to realize it. They have to respect it and give that space.
Yeah, so Jonah's setting up this lineup to throw the smoke right towards middle, so they'll probably try to have him lean more towards the B side to start, but instead immediately covers towards the A side. So something has to be called by Valen to just stay as a group. They're just battling against Sentinels, who actually have 3 players stacked up on the side.
How did this target? Where did this target?
Keeping an eye where the
Is
turret
it
cannot
getting
see.
A or?
So this is on Zekin right now to call for Zelsis' utility if they do go towards B. Zelsis will have a bit of an idea now that he's moved himself over into that spot.
Just a simple default round now for G2, inserting players left and right towards jail, trying to see if Sentinels are going to try to push somebody forward. Then you had the fake being sold by Trent just to break that turret towards middle. And if they have to finish down towards middle for G2, they have an opening to push that red alert button and move towards that B side for a plant.
Very G2 of them to take down to 30 seconds in the round to make this hit. Dizzy on Dizzy. But I think both get shot on that, so they really don't get too much information. But it's Jogamo trying to go high. Bang's ready for 2 as he fires low, then high for that elevation change. And Sentinels eye on the prize here. Hit all their shots.
Spikes down on top of pipes. It's so hard to go get, and you already have a double flank from Sentinels.
Brilliant, bro. You are not Jogamo, bro. You are not gonna knife someone, bro.
Yeah. Coming out from Bang just on the side of 410. And unfortunately there for the side of G2 with the bar that they had, you had stingers on the top by Leaf, who surprised 2 players, but those bullets get out of the clip very quickly and couldn't get the double kill. And John Cutie trades that onto Bang to allow here Sentinels to stop at least G2's push and potentially win the bonus.
Let's go.
It may have been a little quiet, just kind of base Bang, fragging and playing standard throughout the season, but it has definitely been a playoff buff so far for him in these past few series, and Bang is showing up again here on Icebox to help lead the team in frags. This Molly over the top each time John has to deal with.
And they tried to triple swing that at first. If somebody was peeking, he could punish it and then get the nanoswarm out. But now, realizing that somebody has anchored up towards Boiler, that they're probably playing like a 2-2 style, so they have to stay as a group for G2.
Second. Okay.
Tries to get in early.
Ooh.
Oh, he gets denied again. G2, so many good reads on these plays that would completely stop what your opponent is doing. Reckoning's gonna start dislodging the site just a little bit. We've already had 1 frag go down as Jogamo makes it 2, 1 for each side now as Thrash is ready to pounce. Oh, it went too far, but he's gonna be saved by Valen. The teamwork is huge for G2, but Sentinels start to come back in. The 1v1 power that they can show, this prowess to get back in and make sure the clutch is there.
Valen's Saddles are down for now and just came back up. So Leaf is the one that has to stay alive here.
Oh, the tap just misses. Bang gives it another sidestep. Almost a 1-2 for Trent.
It's not half.
Boy, stick it,
So
stick
good in
it,
these
stick it.
situations, Vansili. He's been so good in these situations,
Fucking
Vansili.
God,
Can he do it again? Half didn't even get hit. And he pulls on again!
Unstoppable is Trent in these moments of the clutch. A 1 versus 3. Jiggling, isolating his flanks, getting the Sentinels, stopping the women on top of that, not allowing Sentinels to get the 6 men for the defuse. And Trent pops off one more time.
Absolutely nutty performance from Trent. And put in this situation a bunch of times, it's not just the 1 post plant. It's post plant after post plant that he is successful in. Doesn't even break a sweat while doing it. 9 now for G2 here as they steal it back from a Sentinels round win.
Smoke is pretty good though. Jogamo couldn't get this kill onto the defense on the left side of the A site. And Right now, it seems that G2 wants to pivot a lot towards this A site, and that's spiked down, though, with this kill from Second.
Again, Spike's up top, so now they can easily keep a focus on somebody having to get towards Belt. And Second gives that up. They're not worried about just getting one shot. Spike getting picked up isn't worth losing another member here, so they reset, and now Sentinels enjoy knowing where the Spike is. Have this good push into the pit. This B long fight's getting a little weird. Oh, Bang! Absurd. Absurd play from Bang. And they creep in. G2 is in the 3rd or 4th page of the strat book for this one. They've got to pull out everything with what they've lost.
And Sentinels gave up the A site
30
after
seconds left.
Jonah P died. You saw here that they were just playing inserts. The idea was just to get Jonah P up and try to break the turret so they could rework the map. But Sentinels gave up the A site, allowing G2 to turn it back in their favor.
John Cutie, pretty full on util here. Doesn't have the drone, so they can get back in with a bit of the concuss. But Valen just on the other side of the wall to play cat and mouse, and Zelsis finds one. A bit of util. Yeah, Leaf is chocked full of util right now. Still has a molly to put on the Spike as well.
And with this lockdown, Trent is just waiting so he can try to fall back with a few seconds left, potentially, so he could use the salvos.
Moving forward. They're actually trying to play this one a little different, Vansili. They want to play a different high-low. Oh, the separation and the angles, though, could make this so tough. That's one. It gets traded, but it's behind Trent now. Could he do it again? No, John Cutie.
Finally.
Sentinel IGL calling and hitting the shots to bring back a very needed round.
And why not? You have your
Watch
clutcher
out,
and
that
Trent
injury
and
and
one of your
just
best
mistakes. I am
gamers
not
and
feeling
Leaf
it.
play together inside the site and
They
set
shall
up
come
giving
by.
that space away that you've gained
I'll
with the
catch you all
lockdown.
later.
You're just trying to
Peace.
surprise